Mahalo, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Let's quiet that. Welcome, everyone, to the Waimanalo Neighborhood Board, number 32. This is our monthly meeting here in Waimanalo. We are in person at the Waimanalo Public Library, as well as online and WebEx. If you're interested in joining us, please consider looking for that information online at the NCO website and join us for the discussions. Today's Monday, February 12th, 2024. I'm going to call this meeting into order at 7 p.m. This is Chair Kane. We're happy to have everyone joining us this afternoon for hopefully a very resourceful conversation around the things that are necessary for the community. The purpose of the Neighborhood Board and the Neighborhood Board Plan is to increase and assure effective citizen participation in the decisions of government. Rules for engagement are very simple. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to click the raise hand icon if you're online. And when recognized by the chair, to address comments to the chair. If you're in person, also you can raise your hand and will be addressed by myself as the chair. Remarks should not exceed 3 minutes for those in person as well as online, keeping in mind that you're asked to share your first and last name before you move into your comment or questions. For those here, we have a public microphone up here. We ask that you will stand and do your presentation up at the microphone and refrain from taking the microphone all around the park. Please state your first and last name, as I mentioned, and written testimony may also be submitted via email if you're using the contact information listed on the NCO or Neighborhood Commission Office website. We've set a standard for our engagements here in Waimanalo to operate within everything that exists as aloha, to have modesty or akahai, to have unity displayed as lokahi, to be pleasant in our dealings, to have olu, to be ha'a and humble, and to have patience and ahonui. These are the standards of conduct that we ask everyone to participate with. Please note that the board may take action on any agenda item as required by the State Sunshine Law HRS 92. Specific issues not on this agenda cannot be voted on unless added to this agenda, in which case a 2/3 vote, 9 of the 13 members is needed to add an item to agenda. Adding an item to the agenda, however, is not permitted if one, the item of add is of reasonable importance or major importance, and two, action on the item by the board will affect a significant number of persons. Determination whether a specific matter may be added to an agenda must be done on a case-by-case basis. We ask everyone to silence their cell phones. We also make a note that this meeting is being recorded, so please keep an eye on that as well. For those that are in person, restrooms are out the door, first right and second right. Those are the restrooms. Emergency exits are posted here behind us and then out the door to the left. In the event of an emergency, everyone will depart and we'll meet out front in the parking lot. We are on the school grounds, so no smoking, no drugs, no alcohol, anything of that manner, no loud music. Be respectful of the properties in which we engage with. So thank you guys so much. If there are folks that will be joining us in the parking lot, please keep the noise volume to a minimum. With that being said, I'm going to ask if anyone here would like to offer oli for us to get started, or pule. Anyone online would like to pule us into space this evening? Seeing no one online. Anyone in person? Oh, Brenda Wong, thank you so much.
Mahalo Keakua for loving Waimanalo, that we can all gather here tonight. We ask for your wisdom. We ask for unity. We ask for hearts to listen, to care for this beautiful place that you've given us. Thank you for each person here and those that are listening and those that will come, those that are in this community. We ask that you would make this a great community, great place. In Jesus' name, amen.
Mahalo, Auntie Brenda, for that. Members, we're going to be moving into our roll call. Our Neighborhood Board Assistant, Rachel, is going to call that out. When your name is called, please respond. Mahalo.
Sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, but I'll try. Kelly Iho
Kelly Iho Omalu.
Milan. Kane.
Present.
Makuleho.
Hail.
And then Wong.
Hail.
Boston. Romberg.
Here.
And Rodelix.
Sultan, can you make yourself?
Present.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, let me just check.
Ted, if you're available with audio, please make yourself known.
Hello?
Thanks, Ted.
Yes, okay. So let me just double check. Mabel Ann? And then Lourdes Milan.
Here.
Okay. Okay, so we have 7. If we are able to get everybody on video, we can have quorum or present.
If you folks are able to join us on video, that would be great. Is that just for the whole meeting they have to be on video or just for you to?
But this is
Okay. For decision making, gang, we're going to ask you to put it on your video for that if you can participate that way. So mahalo for your flexibility. Mahalo members, that brings us to our next part in the agenda. We have a message from our kupuna. Are there any kupuna online or here in person that would like to address the board? We've been carving out time to hear and notate and document the voices of our kupuna. It was something that was important to our community. So if there's anyone here that would like to share any kupuna, Antilu? If you'd like to share any kind of any message to the board or to the community, this is separate from your board business stuff later. But we've been giving kupuna opportunity to just share stuff that they want to document with the community if they want to. Got to use the mic. Right here. And then your introduction too. Doesn't have to be a concern, can be a memory, can be a mo'olelo, can be, you know, those things. And we'll have time for concerns after.
Hello, my kako, Luana Ka'io with the Waimanalo Seniors, longtime resident of Waimanalo. Our concern, I noticed with the kupunas, being that I am the pelikikena for this seniors, is we want our building done so we can go back and have our meetings and our gatherings in a place that first started instead of having it in the gym. So that's kind of one of our concerns.
Mahalo, Tilu. Thank you so much for that. We'll continue to keep this as a way for our community and our kupuna to address us and address this community and share their visions and their learnings and their growing up and those stories that we really want to document for the community to learn from. So mahalo for sharing that need. Our Olelo no Ea of the month is a very important Olelo no Ea as it honors and refers to the bounty that Waimanalo used to have and that we can have in the future. But it's Olelo no Ea 1372. Ka'i'a mili I kapono o kalima. O ikapoho, kalamai. Ka'i'a mili I kapoho o kalima. The fish fondled by the palm of the hand. And this talks about this beautiful time where we could literally just gather fish by hand. Yeah, there was no need for us to use these large nets and fishing examples. And it talks about the abundance. Waimanalo had an abundance of i'a and creatures that we were very dependent on from the ocean and the kai. And so those resources are things that we want to talk about. And I thought it was very fitting as we engage in the conversation surrounding our community and resources that we recognize how much our community has changed when we talk about the ability for us to gather from our resources. So 1372, ka'i'a mili kapoho o kalima, the fish fondled by the palm of the hand. Mahalo. Members, we're going to move on to number 2, Emergency Providers and Public Agencies Report. We have HFD here from Waimanalo Fire. Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Captain Alexander Eby from across the street. I'll read the statistics for January 2024. We had 0 structure fires, 0 wildland/brush fires. We had 4 nuisance fires, which include rubbish fires outside of a structure or a vehicle, 1 cooking fire, and 2 activated alarms with no fire. As far as medical emergencies, we had 48. Motor vehicle collision with pedestrians, 0, which is good. Motor vehicle crash/collision, we had 1. Mountain rescue, 0. Ocean rescues, 1. Hazardous materials incident, 1. As far as the fire safety tip, the biggest one is don't stall, call 911. Call 911 right away when there's an emergency. Once the operator is on the line, speak clearly, provide an accurate description of the type of emergency that's happening and the location. Try to remain calm as possible. The operator may ask for additional information or provide instructions. If you find yourself in a spot where you do not have good reception for voice communications, you can text your emergency to 911. And last is, if you don't know the passcode to unlock a cell phone, you can push the quote unquote emergency button to unlock it and call 911. Are there any questions for me?
Mahalo, Captain EB. Thank you so much for your folk service. Members, any questions? Seeing none online. Anyone from the public? Seeing none online. Anyone here in person? All right, seeing none online. Mahalo, Captain EB, for your presentation. Please be safe. Mahalo for your folk service. Thank you.
Good evening. Have a good evening.
Mahalo. Next up, we have Honolulu Police Department. So we have some members here in person. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. If we could just introduce yourselves, and then we'll move into your presentation. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I'm Officer John Bryant with the HPD District 4 Community Policing Team. I have a few stats from January that I'll go over for you guys. So first would be the motor vehicle thefts. Last month, the month of December, it was at 6. Last month, it's at 5. For burglaries, we had 5 in December. For January, we only had 4, one less. For thefts, 29 in December. For January, we had 24. For the unauthorized entry into motor vehicles, we had 2 in December and 11 in January. It's not good. December, we had 1 robbery, and for January, we had 0. At this time, if anybody had any questions and concerns.
Mahalo, Officer Bryant. Thank you for being here. Anyone online, members? Questions for HPD? I don't see any questions from members. We have a question from Ray Cabrera. Ray, if you can introduce yourself before moving into your question.
My name is Ray Cabrera. I live here in Waimanalo. Are those police stats just Waimanalo?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Mahalo, Mr. Cabrera. Anyone else online? Anyone in person? Questions for HPD? Seeing none. Officer Brian, I do have a question. You mentioned 3 specific statistics, one called thefts, one called burglary, one called robbery. Can you identify what are the differences?
So for the thefts, it just can be various, could be theft of property, theft from the stores, theft from any persons, theft from the beaches. And then for robberies, somebody used a weapon in the process of the theft. And then for the unauthorized entry to motor vehicles, that's when people break into cars and steal stuff from within or just damage anything within the vehicles. So just those 3.
Burglary.
Burglaries. Okay, burglaries is usually houses or stores. If somebody goes in, enters without permission and takes something from within, or in the shops, any shops, businesses, that's also burglaries too. So if you guys see anything, please say something. Even if you guys just see somebody's walking in and nobody else is around, the places is blacked out, say something, because that's probably not normal.
Mahalo. Thank you. Then you have an introduction.
Yes, I'd like to introduce our Major of District 4, Major Surreal.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Chirkane. My name is Major Bert Soria. I am the Police Commander of District 4. The area that I'm responsible for is from Makapu'u Point all the way to Kahuku Point, from the sea to the mountain. We have 3 stations. We have the Kailua Police Station, the Kaneohe Police Station, and the Kahuku Police Station. We have approximately 180 officers working in our district 24/7. I have 29 years in the department. I've been in this district just about a year. I've been active in community events in the Waimanalo area. And this past year, I look forward to joining into more events in this upcoming year. So, my office is at the Kaneohe Police Station. If you guys have any questions, comments, please come into the meet me at the Coneo station, make an appointment, and I'll be happy to engage in some conversation with everyone. Thank you.
Are you taking questions by any chance, Major?
I'll take a couple questions.
Just one question.
I'll take a
I
couple.
appreciate the recognition of 180 officers, and that's a very, very large district. And one of the concerns that the community along Ko'olaupoko, Ko'olauloa have years talked about is how big this district is. Can I ask what are the vacancies in the district?
So we have I can't give the I can't give the exact numbers, but between 20 to 30 officers in our district.
So we're looking at having about 210 at the higher end to manage.
Just
the
under
district.
200. But we are able to adequately staff our officers in our district to handle calls of service.
And Officer Bryant, is that correct that it applies to also community policing? Sorry, I gotta, yeah, it does. Okay. Major, thank you so much for making yourself available this evening. Thanks for bringing him. Yeah, come up
Sure.
to the mic, Antilu. It's the audio is actually for the folks online. That's why we got to use the mic. Mahalo.
Okay, my question is, you know, the traffic in the morning? Construction going on? Okay, live in Haleakuni. So come out to the road, we gotta merge, right? But if we like go right, kind of go right, you're on police car parking over there. So we have to wait. If the police car is not there, then we can go right or just go in the right lane so we know we're going right. But if we're going to turn right, can't because the car is in the way. So is there any way they can tell them to park animal back? So we can go up to the stop sign and actually turn right instead of putting our blinker. We gotta go way to the left. So the cop can see us, we like go that way. But if it's car, yeah, he's parking right there in front. Okay.
Mahalo for your question. Is that something you folks can field or?
Yeah, sure. At this time, we'll probably have to talk to the construction company. I'm not sure if that's how they wanted the placement of our officers. So what we can do is just bring it up to them. We can talk to the officers and then talk to the construction company and see if that's something we can do. And we'll address it tomorrow. I'll make sure I make contact the right people tomorrow for you guys. And then I'll get back to one of you guys.
Mahalo.
Okay.
Last question.
Yes.
There's been over the years, and you know this, there's been a need and a desire to have more community presence with our community policing team, partnerships, and kind of doing more active stuff. At next month's meeting, can we get some stats on kind of the things that you folks have been working on so that the community can actively figure out how we can be a part of some of those things?
Oh, sure.
Is that
For
okay?
Sure. Yep, for sure. Can
Appreciate it.
Yep, you're welcome.
Gentlemen, thank you for your
Yep,
service,
thank
for your
you.
presentation. Mahalo. All right, members, we're going to move on. We have the Board of Water Supply. Danny is online. Danny, the time is yours. Mahalo for being here.
Hi, good evening. It's Danielle Ornelas with Honolulu Board of Water Supply. And so for the month of January, we have no water main breaks to report. And then this month's general water announcement, we have a $100 toilet rebate for a limited time. This ends April 18th. The Board of Water is providing the customers with a big offer of $100 rebate on WaterSense labeled toilets, 1.28 gallons per flush or less. This is more than double the usual rebate, which is usually only $40. And it will end on April 18th. Limit is 4 per household or 10 per commercial customers. And then more information is always found at boardofwatersupply.com/rebates. And that's it. Do you have any questions?
Mahalo for the updates, Danny. We appreciate it. Members online, any questions for Board of Water Supply? All right, seeing none. Any public members online? Okay, seeing none. Anyone here in person? All right, seeing none. Danny, thank you so much. We look forward to your presentation at next month's meeting.
Thank you.
Mahalo. Members, we're going to move on. We have the Director of Parks and Rec here on behalf of Mayor Blangiardi's office. Director Thielen, the time is yours. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Aloha, everyone. So for the mayor's report tonight, one of the updates is the city's been placing rescue tubes around the island. This is a project that was set up with some community groups to help increase rescues in areas where there may be danger to swimmers and we don't have a lifeguard present for one reason or another. So we've worked out agreement with the organization and the city attorneys, and we've been placing these at a lot of beach parks or beach rights of ways or other areas, lands that the city manages, which has been a very nice partnership. Another nice partnership that's coming up is the Oahu Invasive Species Council has been looking for a place to build a permanent facility. And they had been doing a lot of education classes for the community at Ho'omaluhia Botanical Gardens. So the botanical garden director jumped on this as an opportunity, and she's identified a location at Ho'omaluhia, which is just Mauka of the caretaker's house. So it would be a secure location. There would be somebody there to be able to watch the facility at night. And then we can increase the number of classes that are held in the Windward area about invasive species. And it also means the staff will be closer to be able to go help at locations and Windward sites, you know, for in-place service or community education or other things like that. So there'll be a benefit to Waimanalo with that siting. It'll take a little bit of while for them to build the facility, so we'll go through that process with them. But it's a really nice partnership. And then on the agenda later on tonight is information about the park project at Waimanalo District Park. So I'll let the representatives speak to that. But I did just want to provide some explanation because it's a little bit confusing. Even though this is a park project, the City Department of Design and Construction, or DDC, manages the contracts. They're the city engineers and architects. So once a project goes into design and construction, that department takes over the process. So we had talked with them after the last community meeting that DDC held. And so I think they reached out to the chair as well as the council member for the area to set up the current meeting. And then any future meetings, I think, you know, will hopefully go well and be at times that are helpful for the community members to participate. But we're very excited for this project to be going forward, and we really encourage people in the community to come and share their thoughts on the project because these are really important improvements that we would like to get completed. And I don't have any questions from last month. So if I missed anything, please let me know. And if there's any tonight, we can do our best to either answer them now or take them back to get information for you.
Director, thank you so much for the update on behalf of Mayor Rick Blangiardi's administration. Members online, any questions for the mayor's office? Auntie Brenda Wong, please introduce your folks selves as well.
Mahalo, Laura. Could you give me the update about the Waimanalo gym roof again, or more specifically, I know they said that it's been since before the pandemic that they've had those baby pools all over the gym floor because it's leaking.
Yes, so as you know, that project, they had done design and construction on that roof before. It continued to leak afterwards, so they went back and took a look again, and they think that the there's a different issue with the roof. So this construction project is supposed to fix that leak. Again, this is, you know, a project managed by the Department of Design and Construction. There is concern in the park staff because Department of Design and Construction is finishing the project to the recreation building. And we want to make sure that we do not close the gym to the public before opening up the recreation building. And so DDC has made that commitment that they'll hold off on shutting down the gym until that recreation building project is finished. And I think it should be finished very soon. I think they're in the last punch list and final inspection phase. So we would have at least one of the buildings open. And that's important because I know the park department is doing the classes, and then we'll be going into summer fun as well.
Mahalo.
Mahalo for the question. Any other members online? Question for the administration? Okay, seeing none, any public members online? Seeing none, any members in person? Questions for the mayor's office? Okay, seeing none. A representative, excuse me, director, thank you so much for your time this evening. I do want to acknowledge Parks and Rec's improvements to our Waimanalo Beach Park. I know they've been trying to shore up and secure some of the access challenges that the community's been facing. We see the crew members out there trying to fix the fencing and trying to fix the chain lines, and so we're really appreciative of that. And additionally, I'm not sure if it was the city, but the improvements that was done at Makapu'u at Kaupo Beach Park, the filling of the coral into the road systems is very much appreciated. If that was the city, please send our appreciation there as well. We know that the laundry list of things that are needed here in our community is long and extensive, and so we appreciate the time and patience that you've been putting in to meet our community where we need you to be on behalf of our Parks and Recreation spaces. And so we continue to look forward to strengthening that relationship, Director. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And I will stick around because I know we have another item on the agenda towards the end, so I'll be around for that as well.
Fantastic. Mahalo.
Thank
Members,
you.
we're going to
Bye,
move
everyone.
on. We have the filling of 5 vacancies on this board. We do have some work to do to garner some support for these particular vacancies, but we're going to go through them one at a time. We have a vacancy in the at-large position. I recognize that we do have someone interested in filling that this evening that is present online. So we're going to take one vacancy at a time. Yeah. So at this time, we're going to acknowledge Kapi'olani Ni. Kapi'olani is online with us. Happy, you want to unmute and maybe just share a little bit about your history, like your connection to Waimanalo and maybe your interest in the board, if you're able to? Okay. Oh, where did she go? She not there? Okay. Well, we'll see if she can reconnect. That was one folks person that was interested. Excuse me. Oh, there she is. And you're unmuted now, so try check, see if you're able to share. Mahalo for your patience, everyone, as we try to get her connected to share. Okay, we'll work on that connection. Kapio, if you can, try and stay on and see if you can share a little bit after, or work on that relationship connection, actually, I should say. We're going to move on to Subdistrict 5, Waimanalo Village. Anyone here interested in the Waimanalo Village position? Okay, seeing none, moving on. We have the Subdistrict 8 position. This is a new homesteads. Anyone interested in the new homesteads position? Okay, seeing none. Subdistrict 9, this is the old homesteads and the beach homes out to Makapu'u. Anyone interested in that position? Okay, seeing none, hearing none, we're going to move over to Hale'aupuni, Subdistrict 11. Any interested parties for that particular vacancy? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we're going to try and go back up to at large. Kapi'olani. I don't see her. Okay. Okay, it looks like we're having some connectivity issues with that, so I'm just going to go ahead and push forward. If we do have an opportunity to welcome her conversation with us, we'll look forward to that at a later time. Just so that everyone knows, we are looking for 5 positions currently at large, Subdistrict 5, 8, 9, and 11. If you're interested and live within these districts, please contact the Neighborhood Board Commission or contact one of the board members. We need all the help we can get in terms of addressing the needs of the community, and we'd love to learn from everyone that's present in our community. So seeing no connection with her, we're going to press on, members. We do have a full agenda this evening. So we're going to move into our education and our organization report, starting with our education folks. Do we have Principal Jamie Dela Cruz online this evening? Okay, I don't hear him. I believe he was going to be joining us. If he doesn't join us, I will share one of the updates that we are aware of on their behalf. We're going to move on to Blanche Pope Elementary. Do we have anyone here from Blanche Pope Elementary, Kekulakayapuni o Waimanalo? Okay, hearing none. Malamahonua Public Charter School. We have our Po'okumu here. Denise Espana, as I see online.
Aloha.
Mahalo. Thank you. We'll look forward to your presentation.
Mahalo nui for chair and board for allowing us to share a little bit about Malama Honua. Just want to open with a little that we are delving deeper into these next couple of weeks. Aohe loa'a ika noho vale. So nothing is gained by idleness. And as we move, we're 3 trimesters. So as we move towards the ending of our first trimester, we recognize the importance of continuing to persevere and continuing to work hard. Our Haumana and Kumu have been working diligently to close out this second trimester. The other week, we had our second student-led conferences of the year, where our Haumana share how they're doing on the goals that they set in the fall. And so using data from their daily hana on projects and classwork, as well as their mid-year assessments on NWEA, they visited with their makua what their strengths are, what they've accomplished towards their goals, as well as next steps. We're now working towards the final weeks as they prepare for their trimester 2 ho'ike to community partners. Papa Ehiku will be presenting to their ohana their papa and pohaku that they made and named, and they're going to be doing their first ku'i. And for our Papa Elima and Evalu, they will be doing their defenses of learning, presenting to a panel of community partners, kumu and peers, their understanding of our Mind of the Navigator skills. And our 8th graders will also be sharing not only examples of their experiences and learning models of their understanding of the Mind of the Navigator, but they're also being asked to share what they believe is their kuleana to Malama Honua as graduates of our kula. All students from our babies in kindergarten all the way through 8th grade are far from idle at this time of year as they power through to the end of the trimester, as every single haumana at Malama Honua will ho'ike in one way, shape, or form. We're also accepting applications for school year 24-25, kindergarten through 8th grade, through March 31st. After March 31st, we'll be doing a lottery for those positions that we don't have enough spaces for. So if you know of anybody who would be interested in being a part of our kula, they're interested in Aina-based learning about Waimanalo, and of course, Native Hawaiian language, cultures, practices, then please share with them our information. Let's see. Also, Halau Hekili is also recruiting Haumana from Waimanalo to participate in Kailua High School's Aina-based early college credit program. So it's a collaborative effort between Kailua High School, Windward College, and Purple Mai'a. And really it's for Haumana who excel and are passionate about Aina and are looking for a supportive alternative learning environment. So I would highly encourage anyone who has or knows of an 8th grader that it's going to be rising to 9th grade to have them apply. It's a part of one of the electives that they choose. So if you have any questions after you give them that information, Kailua High School is more than happy to talk with them. And they can also reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to talk about the Halau Hekili program, which is truly an amazing opportunity for our Haumana to get college credits in a very supportive, small learning environment and doing things that they love around being able to really learn with a foundation grounded in Aloha Aina. And so, again, just can't speak more highly about the program that Kailua High School is offering. Oya wale no. Mahalo nui for allowing me to share.
Mahalo nui po okumu Denise. Members, any questions for Malamahono Public Charter School? All right, seeing none online. Any community members online? Seeing none. Anyone here in public? Okay, seeing none. Mahalo nui for your service as always in the education of our community. Denise, thank you so
Mahalo.
much for your time. Appreciate it. All right, we're moving on. Anyone here from Hui Malamo Kikai? Hearing none. Windward Community College, do we have artists online? Chancellor? Hearing none. University of Hawaii College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources, Auntie Ilima, I do see her online.
Aloha, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I just wanted to echo what Denise was saying about the Aina-based learning. We have the 8th graders on farm just about every week, and these kids are amazing, and we really are bringing up the next generation of leaders in our community. And so I wanted to mahalo Malamohono Public Charter School for all of the work that they've been doing. And I've watched these kids come from kindergarten. They're actually the first group of kids in this class. And they have really evolved and become beautiful people. I also wanted to share that this past Saturday, we had our Olena work day. Kalamai, I wasn't there. I was actually on vacation and I just returned this afternoon. So I'm happy to be back in Waimanalo. That's about it right now. And there was one more thing. We had a group of kids from Uplinks with PAF from Waimanalo Elementary and Intermediate School last week. About 12 of them. And I was very grateful to have these children on the farm. They really need to learn a lot of things about Hawaiian perspectives and cultural practices and stuff because I don't know, they didn't know much, but they were willing to learn. And I hope that we can bring them on far more often and, we can teach them a little bit more. And I hope to see, I had challenged them because they didn't even know Oli Mahalo. And so I found that a little bit sad because that Oli has been around for at least 25 years. So that's just my input. Mahalo, and does anybody have any questions for me?
Mahalo, Auntie Ilima. Thank you so much. Members, questions for Sitar? Seeing none. Anyone from the public online? Seeing none. Anyone here in public? Auntie Lu, please come up to the mic, introduce yourself.
Yes.
Hello, Mike Kako. Ilima, the hikis were very awesome. For me, that was my first day with the Olena, and they got dirty for me. So I appreciate all their help, and I'm glad they were there to help. But they're young, they can do the hard work, they can bend their backs. And for me, it was a learning experience, and I'm glad I went. In the sun, got dirty. Mahalo, and mahalo to them.
Mahalo,
Mahalo
Auntie
for
Lu.
being present.
Auntie Ilima, I don't see any other hands here. So mahalo for your service. Welcome home.
Mahalo. Aloha, everybody.
All right, members, we're going to move on to community organizations. This is the Waimanalo Health Center. Jasmine, the time is yours. Thank you for being here.
Aloha, thank you for having me. Last month I shared about some health programs and I wanted to give some more health program updates. February is Heart Health Month, and online on social media we'll be sharing some heart healthy tips and some healthy recipes. We'll post those to our website as well for anyone interested in those. Some tips from our registered dietitian team for a healthy heart include getting your heart pumping, so physical activity, nourishing your heart with a healthy balance of vegetables, fruits, lean protein, low saturated fat, and low added sugars, reducing stress, improving your sleep, and knowing your numbers, meaning getting your blood pressure checked. So those are some heart healthy tips for this month. Last month I shared that we have our Olohoi Kahula class on Wednesdays from 5 to 6, and that's focused on people with high blood pressure, hypertension, or at risk for heart disease. So if you're interested, Wednesdays from 5 to 6, it's in Gaybert Training Center at our original site. You're welcome to join us for that. And our farmers market is also Wednesdays. It's been moved up half an hour, so it's now 2:30 to 5:30. Wanted to share some of the vendors that come. Ma Farm, so Bruce Campbell with Ma Farm and Well-Fed Ohana. Auntie Nani's Cookies, if you're looking for some baked treats. Treasures by Shireen, Olamana Meli, and then we have a food truck that's been joining too, Sandy Sazon. Our diabetes talk story, that is the third Friday of every month from 8:30 to 10:30. So for those living with diabetes that want to learn better ways to manage it or ask questions in a safe, welcoming space, we have that once a month. And then I also wanted to share again about our smoking cessation program, especially for those that made a New Year's resolution to stop smoking or vaping this year. That's a free program available to anyone that wants to quit cigarettes, e-cigarettes, vaping, or Juul. If you'd like more information, you can call our main line 259-7948. And I also wanted to share that we are still hiring both full-time and part-time positions. We shared a video online today for anyone interested, but our staff member, P.E. Mahoy, is sharing about her value and perspective on aloha. And we have several of those videos on our careers page for anyone that wants to get a better glimpse into working at the health center and how those values are important. You can hear from our staff themselves. I wanted to share some of the positions available if it catches anyone's interest. The Kaka'o Lomi Lomis, licensed massage therapists, we are hiring for one of those. Medical assistant, medical providers, patient service representatives, those are people that work in the front office, so you get to see them every time you come to the health center. And also our WIC breastfeeding peer counselor, so anyone interested in working with the WIC program. You can visit waimanalohealth.org/careers for a list of all the positions open right now. And those are my updates. Mahalo.
Jasmine, thank you so much for your service and your updates this evening. Members online, any questions for the Waimanalo Health Center? Seeing none, any of our public on the online? All right, seeing none. Anyone here in public? Questions for the Health Center? Seeing none. Jasmine, I do have two questions, if I may. One is the Waimanalo Health Center pushing or supporting any legislature in this year's ledge session?
I will need to ask and get back to you on that.
Thank you. And then more recently, we've seen kind of an uptick in some of the flu cases, COVID cases, et cetera. Does the health center have any precautionary statements on what the community may be willing to consider in light of that uptick?
Yes, I think last month we shared about a rise in that. We do have vaccines available for all three: flu, RSV, and COVID-19. So that's one way that people can choose to protect themselves and their ohana. Throughout COVID and recent years, we did a lot of tips about washing of your hands. If you're sick or someone is sick, keeping some distance. So we would still reiterate those. Yeah, if people are sick, it's good not to go into crowded spaces. It spreads easily. So
Mahalo. Thank you so much for your service, Jasmine. We look forward to seeing you folks next time. Thank you.
mahalo.
Members, we're moving on to Waimanalo Homestead Association. Kenneth Ho?
If Kenneth is not here, I can speak to, I have something to say.
Oh, mahalo, Auntie Lima. Auntie Lima Ho Lastimosa for the Hawaiian Homestead Association. Go ahead, Auntie.
Mahalo. So I just wanted to let everyone know that on March 4th, we have tentatively scheduled, the Department of Hawaiian Homelands is intending to update the regional plan for Waimanalo. And if you are a lessee or a beneficiary, we really need you to come and participate. And they should be sending out information about that meeting that'll happen at the Halau. But I haven't seen it yet. So they came to visit us in January, and that was their intention to come 3 times, and I can make sure that we get the updated information, but I do want to let everyone know that it's tentatively scheduled for March 4th, which is the first Monday of next month. And if you're available, please do come. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Auntie. Is that like a 5 p.m. meeting? 6
I think
p.m.?
it's gonna start at 6. But I will, as soon as they send out their schedule, their plan, I can forward to you, Kimi, please.
Okay, I appreciate it, Auntie. And I know you weren't prepared maybe to take questions, but do you know if the Homestead Association took a position on the recommendations for the new subdivision development?
We haven't even gotten there yet with the department. We had a short conversation, but right now the only thing that they wanted input from us is the updating of the regional plan, and I'm sure that it'll be a part of that.
Okay, mahalo. Thank you so much for the update.
My pleasure.
Members, we're moving on to military reports. Online, we have our Major Dalen Chen. Major, the time is yours, representing Bellows Air Force Station.
Aloha and good evening, everyone. My name is Major Dalen Chen. One big news coming up for Bellows Air Force Station is that we're going to be closing 5 days a week, basically from Sunday to Thursday, starting March 1st all the way to the end of April. And that's due to the military munitions response program. Some of you may be familiar with. We had meetings in the RAB, the Restoration Advisory Board, to talk about some of the munitions that were left over from the 1930s and 40s. So we're going to be addressing that and safely removing those from the base. Any questions? That's all I have for tonight.
Major, thank you so much for the update. Members online, questions for the Major. Auntie Brenda, is that you? Please unmute, introduce yourself.
I'm Brenda Wong on the Waimanalo board, representing the Waimanalo banyan tree. We heard that, and I'm also chair of the Parks and Rec Committee. We heard that there were vehicles going up and down on the beach. So I wonder if you know about that and if you guys are doing anything there on the Bellow side.
Ma'am, that's correct. There were some vehicles. They were cited by HPD. So we had some boulders kind of set in place to block people from driving on the beach. Unfortunately, they moved the boulders. So we are planning to put those boulders back and kind of block the area again. It's unfortunate they were able to get through the gate, but fortunately HPD was able to come and help us out. But we're trying our best to make sure that doesn't happen again, or at least minimize it from happening.
I just see numerous trucks going up and down that road regularly.
Yes, ma'am. So we've actually increased our patrols out there as well, understanding that this has happened. So we are trying our best. They're getting through one of the fences. Every time we put up a chain, it does get cut down, unfortunately. But we have increased our vehicle patrols out there to kind of hopefully curb some of the folks driving on the beach, because it is a hazard and it is a dangerous thing for people to do.
Mahalo.
Mahalo for the question. Thank you, Major, for the response. Any other members for Bellows online? Seeing none. Anyone from the public? Great. Anyone here in person? Seeing none. Major, thank you so much for being here. We look forward to your presentation next month. Okay, mahalo. Members, we're moving on. Marine Corps Base Hawaii, we have here in person, Christy Kaluhiva. Thank you so much for being here, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair and members of the community. My name is Christy Kaluhiva, Marine Corps Base Hawaii. I just want to do a real quick update, a reminder, this is a RIMPAC year. And as we get closer, we will update everybody in regards to any kind of training. We do expect some of the beach days to be closed for training during the RIMPAC, but we're going to work to minimize that. But as I said, as we get closer and we have plans, we will keep you folks posted. And then in addition, we wanted to also engage the community with our Engineering with Nature. And I have Teresa here who is going to share with you folks in regards to the coastal resiliency in their pilot project. And Teresa? I'm going to hand it right over to you.
Mahalo.
So thank you, everyone. I just briefly wanted to share a new project, and this is an Engineering with Nature project. In case you're not familiar with them, this is an Army Corps of Engineers led initiative, but it's also a collaboration with local DoD entities, state, and other community-based companies. And our goal is to use nature-based solutions to improve resiliency and fight climate change. And I wanted to talk today about the Dune Enhancement Project over at Marine Corps Base training area at Bella. So right now, our goals here are to restore some of the native vegetation. We are also going to be removing some of the invasive species, primarily the ironwood trees. We are hoping that this will also support the dune growth, which then in turn improves resilience at our local beaches. So we have just started the pilot project that's being conducted right outside the entrance to Bellows. And ultimately, once we complete the pilot project, we hope to do a much larger full-scale project throughout Bellows Beach. I have the contact information for Tabor Migley. He's our project manager. Suggestions, comments, questions, feel free to direct them to us. Again, my name is Teresa Quinola. I work here locally on Oahu, and we're happy to listen to the community.
Mahalo, Teresa. Thank you so much for that. So if there are questions about this, we look forward to having a discussion in our Waimanalo Community Plan committee coming up next week, where we'll just kind of review some of the information and we'll be able to share some of that out from that level as well. But we thank you for your presentation and the information shared. Chrissy?
And in addition to that, if there are any questions that you folks want to email from me or to me that we can share, and I will be at that community meeting because we do want to get the community and engineering with nature together so that the community's thoughts are at the forefront of any planning. Thank you.
Mahalo. Auntie Brenda, can you also make time in your committee meeting at Parks and Rec to maybe just review some of the information?
Yes.
Mahalo. Members, any questions for Marine Corps Base Hawaii? Seeing none. Any public participants online? Seeing none. Anyone here in person? Seeing none. Mahalo, ladies. Thank you so much for your service. Do we have anyone here from Army National Guard? Okay, seeing none, we're gonna move on. Members, we do have Kapi'olani back online. So if you folks would support it, members, I would like to go back to our agenda item, filling of vacancy at large position. Kapio, are you able to speak at this time?
Yes.
Okay, mahalo. So members, we do have an interest here in the at-large position. This is Kapi Olanini, and we've asked her to just share a little bit about herself and maybe something that interests you about joining the board. Just a minute or so. Go ahead.
Okay. Aloha mai kako. My name is Kapiola Nini. I'm born and raised in Waimanalo, and I am currently a assistant teacher for Malamahonoa Public Charter School. And I've always been interested on being a part of the Waimanalo Neighborhood Board. And finally, this presented itself. So I'm very excited to be serving my community and to help in whatever way I can. So mahalo.
Mahalo. Thank you so much for making the attempt to reconnect. We appreciate it. And we appreciate your standing up and taking that step that we also appreciate there. Members, right now we have Kapi Olani. Is there any other interested parties in the vacancy of at-large? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we're going to close that portion. Members, we need someone to recommend Kapiolani to this position. Is there anyone of our board that is willing to do so at this time?
I, Lourdes Milan, recommend Kapiolani Ni for the at-large position.
Thank you
I'll
so
second
much.
that.
Okay, thank you. We're so good at that now, Rachel. You see? Mahalo, there's no second necessary in this particular event, but we appreciate the recognition there. Members, seeing that we have only one person present, we're just going to ask when your name is called to repeat the name. The last name is sufficient. Okay, so for decision-making members, you do need your camera on, please. And then you can just state the last name of the individual that you wish to fill the vacancy of the at-large position. Okay, so I'll turn it over to Rachel. When your name is spoken, please go ahead and repeat the last name. Thank you.
Okay, so Lourdes,
Lulu, unmute.
Oh, sorry. Ni, yes. Right? Just your last name?
Ni, yes. Moeta,
Ni.
Brenda,
Ni.
Ted,
Ni.
Kanani,
Ni.
Dalton,
Ni.
Miona.
Ni.
So we have all 7 voting for Ni. So for Ni, can I have you send me a picture of an ID and then I can verify that you're within the sub district just to be sure again.
Will do.
So
Mahalo.
this is taking place. We're gonna take a short recess
Yes,
just so that we can confirm the address, and then from there we'll move into the next step. So we're gonna take a short recess for that to come over, gang. Mahalo. Okay, gang, thank you so much. While we went ahead and confirmed the address for Kapi'olani, at this time, we're gonna have the oath of office shared. So we're gonna pull it up, or you have it online you wanna share? Or you want me to text this to her? Yeah. Kapi'olani, I'm gonna send you a picture of the oath of office. We just need you to read it out loud for your coming onto the board. So let me get that over to you. And we appreciate everyone's patience as we welcome on our new member. So as soon as you have that, we'll turn it over to Rachel. Rachel would administer it. So let me know when you do. Mahalo.
I just got it.
Okay, Rachel, all yours.
Could I have you read the oath of office?
Okay. I solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully support the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, the Constitution and laws of the State of Hawaii, the Charter and laws of the City and County of Honolulu, and the provisions of the Neighborhood Plan, and will conscientiously and impartially discharge my duties to the best of my ability as a member of the Neighborhood Board to which I have been elected or appointed.
Thank you, and welcome to the board.
Congratulations, Kapi'olani, mahalo nui for your service. We look forward to learning with you as you serve in the at-large position on the Waimanalo Neighborhood Board. Thank you so much.
Mahalo nui.
Members, that brings our board total this evening to eight members present. We will push on with our presentations. We have first up Board of Water Supply. This is regarding the Waimanalo systems upgrades. So I'll turn it over to Barry. Is that you going to be giving it?
This is Lester Fujikami.
Aloha, Lester. Thank you so much for being here. I apologize.
Thank you.
Lester, I'll turn it over to you. The time is
Thank
yours. Mahalo.
Thank you. We also have Jadine Ursaki online. Okay, so the Board of Water Supply has a Waimanalo Water System Improvements Project, which is along Kalani Aneole Highway. Okay, this project will increase water system reliability by providing a redundant water main and eliminating a one-way feed along Kalani Aneole Highway. Okay, this project involves installing a 24-inch water main along Kalani Aneole Highway from Olomana Golf Course to Po Alima Street, and also installing a 12-inch water main along Kalani Aneole Highway from Inoa Ole Street to Hihimanu Street. Okay, the project benefits. The new water main will allow the Board of Water Supply to maintain water service to majority of our customers during main breaks. It will minimize downtime to customers during main breaks and also increase system reliability and service to our customers in the Waimanalo area. And so the design of this project started late last year, okay, and we anticipate the construction to be budgeted in the 2027 fiscal year. Okay, and the construction schedule will be determined at that time. Okay, and that's all we have. Any questions?
For the introduction to the project. Members online, questions for the department? Let's see. Ted Ralston, please, sir, introduce your name and your question can follow. Thank you.
Yes, Ted Ralston is my name. A couple questions. One, we just finished the resurfacing of the highway in that same area. And I wonder if there's been coordination between the work done there and what you're doing at Board of Water Supply to minimize any adverse effects on the recently completed paving. And the second question is more of an observation. We found a lot of, not we, but the contractors found a lot of incorrect information regarding the subsurface services along the highway in the area of the health center. and had a lot of delay because I had to relocate a lot of service functions that weren't on the GIS. And I wonder if just pass that information along to you, maybe coordinating or talking to those guys who did that work would help you out a little bit.
Yes, thank you for that information. We'll try to dig up some as-built that they
Yeah.
have, and then we'll communicate with them. So yes, we are aware of that project, but this project is just starting design, so it's going to take a while. So, we anticipate budgeting the construction in 2027, but, it may take longer than that, depending on the permitting, and approvals and the plans.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Any other members, questions for Board of Water Supply? Okay, seeing none online. Anyone in the public online? Seeing none. Anyone here in public? Okay, seeing none. Lester, we'll obviously be having some conversations surrounding some of the work that's expected to take place. And I guess just for the public, the function of this particular line is to bring drinking water across, right?
Yes, it's to increase reliability to the water system.
And that's because our infrastructure has aged to a certain extent. Is that correct?
Yes, it has aged, and yeah, we just want to, increase reliability in case main breaks.
Would you happen to know what age our infrastructure is currently, or when it was installed?
Sorry, I gotta get back to you on that.
Okay, not a problem. I appreciate it. I see no other hands or questions for you folks this evening, but if there are any, we will be sure to send them over.
All right, thank you.
Much appreciated. And I believe that was already sent to us, but I'll double check. If it's not, I would kindly request it, the paper document.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, mahalo. Thank you so much. Members, we're going to move on. We have the Waimanalo Beach Park Improvement EA presentation. This is with Planning Solutions. This is regarding the Gabby Pops Pahinui Pavilion and some of the restrooms, comfort stations that are in that area. So I'm going to turn it over to, is there anyone online or are you here in person only?
In person only.
Okay, would you introduce yourself, please, sir? Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Jim Hayes with Planning Solutions, and we're assisting Department of Design and Construction, who's assisting the Department of Parks and Recreation with planning and permitting for improvements at Waimanalo Beach Park. So we have a brief presentation. This slide shows just the cover of the draft environmental assessment that was recently made available. And we'll talk a little bit about the planning process. The items in black here have been completed. So going back a little over a year ago, we sent scoping letters. We had a public meeting in in June. Then, like I said just a moment ago, the draft EA has become available. We've sent out announcements to people in the community regarding the EA and a meeting coming up on February 21st. That's Wednesday, from 6:30 until 8:30 at the District Park Gym. So that'll be a public meeting where everybody can come, and we'll have a larger presentation and discussion about the project, and people can leave comments on the draft EA. Comments are due by March 11th. So it's a 30-day comment period from publication on February 8th. So the purpose of the proposal is to continue to provide the Waimanalo community with recreational opportunities and the facilities that support them. Park improvements are needed because existing and/or former facilities at the park have deteriorated or been removed due to age, weathering, vandalism, and other factors. So during that scoping meeting in June, the project consisted solely of a rebuilding of the former pavilion. Then at that meeting, we heard from the community concerns about comfort stations and the crafts building. And so now those elements have been added to the proposal and are addressed in the environmental assessment. So just so people understand the process moving forward, we're going to do the final EA and then we're going to move into the permitting process. And because the beach park is in the special management area, we need a special management area permit. We're going to prepare that application based on the information in the EA, primarily Chapter 4 of the EA. We'll submit that to the Department of Planning and Permitting. They'll hold a public hearing, so another opportunity for public input. We don't know when that will be, of course, because it's up to the DPP to set that schedule. And then once DPP submits their report to the city council will consider a resolution, which involves a hearing at their zoning committee, and then a final hearing where the full council considers the proposal or the permit application. Then Department of Parks and Recreation will seek funding through the city council's budget process for capital improvement projects. So that's how the process is going to move forward. And I'm sure everybody knows where we're talking about, but this is a map showing Waimanalo Beach Park. I believe it's in District 9 or Sub-District 9 of the neighborhood board. And I saw that unfortunately there's no one currently sitting in the neighborhood in that sub-district seat. But this is where we are. I'm sure that the whole community, whether in Sub-District 9 or not, uses these facilities and is familiar with them. Primarily one TMK number, but there's a group of other smaller ones. It's owned by the Department of Hawaiian Homelands, but leased to the city. And like all parks, it's in the preservation district. So it'll continue to be a park. This is a aerial view of the park area. And we consider the proposed project as improvements in generally two areas. We call it the Eastern and the Western Comfort Station areas. The Eastern Comfort Station is near the camping area, so toward the bottom right of this slide. And the Western Comfort Station is near the ball fields, essentially in the center of this slide. So beyond improvements in those two specific areas, we're seeking approval for the periodic replacement of other existing park facilities as they wear out or are damaged. So it's successful when other things are needed, when other improvements are needed to the ball fields, for instance, or other elements of the park. Those will be able to sort of ride along with this environmental assessment and permit to reduce delay in their implementation. So we're going to zoom in a little bit on the western area first. This is near the ball fields. And so during our July public meeting again, we had a design for the new pavilion or the replacement pavilion. We heard concerns about skylights in the pavilion and potentially causing leaks and some other details that people were interested in. So this city in response has now excluded skylights from the pavilion design, and we'll use other methods, including different kinds of finishes to provide better lighting in the pavilion. The comfort stations, including both this one in the western and the eastern areas, would be replaced with prefabricated comfort stations. Those prefabricated pieces of the comfort stations would be vandalism resistant to reduce wear and tear in the future. One of the considerations with this and any project along the shoreline is concerns regarding shoreline erosion and other shoreline hazards. So the lines in this upper right corner of this slide show those shoreline erosion and hazard areas identified by the University of Hawaii in their studies. And the pinkish line just on the left side of those is the 60-foot shoreline setback. And so as you can see, all the existing facilities are well outside of that setback area. And so we're not too concerned about that process in the near term. It might be interesting to see what we just heard a presentation a little bit ago about work nearby on shoreline. So it might be interesting to see how that plays out and how those lessons might be applied here as well. So this is a photograph of the former pavilion. It was removed in 2019. The new pavilion will look nearly identical to the former one, but it will use new materials that should be better resistant to degradation in the coastal environment and therefore last longer. One note is that the rock wall and plaque dedicating the pavilion to the memory of Gabi Pahanui will be retained. So people familiar with the park still see the wall there and the plaque there. That was retained when the pavilion was removed in 2019, and it will be preserved when the new pavilion is built. The cost to replace the pavilion is currently estimated at $1.2 million. So thinking about the prefabricated comfort stations, this is an example of one from California. The Waimanalo Beach Park prefabricated comfort station will probably not look like this exactly, but it could share some elements of this station here in California. And a couple things to note, the sinks are outside, but they're under a cover. And the bathroom stalls are unisex and accessed directly from the exterior. So there's no sort of vestibule or indoor space with these comfort stations. And that's part of their anti-vandalism design elements. The cost to replace both of the comfort stations is estimated at roughly $2.5 million. Just a quick look at the eastern area. This is near the camping area, probably. So the camping area is over on the right side of the slide, then the parking lot in the middle, and that eastern comfort station with the sidewalks around it and the showers there. And again, we're showing the shoreline erosion hazard areas and the shoreline setback. And as with the other one, we're well outside of those areas. And so just to get people interested in continuing to engage with the project, we invite you to download the draft environmental assessment. There's a link available here. It's on the Environmental Review Program website. And comments on the draft EA are due by March 11th, can be sent to the email address there. But primarily, we want to encourage people to attend our public meeting coming up on Wednesday, February 21st. Again, starting 6:30, lasting until 8:30 at Waimanalo District Park Gymnasium. So that's the same place we had our scoping meeting in June. Only this time, it'll be in the evening to allow for greater participation, hopefully, although we did have quite a number of people join us in June. And we look forward to people's continued input. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hayes, for that presentation. Normally we would take questions, but seeing that this is going to be a part of the community for the next month at least, members, if you do have any questions that immediately stick out, please go ahead and add them to your comments and send them in, as well as for the public. I do have two requests, if I might, Mr. Hayes. And one, I appreciate the links. Thank you so much for being conscious of that. One of the things that we've become accustomed to here in Waimanalo is to have a paper copy added to the library if we can do that.
We sent one to the library.
Fantastic. And then may I also get a paper copy for the neighborhood board?
We can get another one made if, yeah.
Appreciate that. Seeing that, with that being said, as well, Auntie Brenda, if this can go into your committee's discussions, just to think through, talk about, it'd be great to have the Parks and Rec Committee review some of this information at your next meeting, which is on Monday. If you can make time for that, that would be great.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Hayes, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Director Thielen, if you're still online, do you have anything else that you'd like to add to the presentation this evening?
Thank you for the opportunity, Chair. I guess the one thing that I'd like to add is that the examples of the bathroom that were given for in California, those are old. They are not the type of bathroom that we wanted. We gave the Department of Design and Construction a company that's a much more modern company that's making some very attractive bathrooms, and that they are designed to be vandal resistant. It's called the public restroom company. And I'll ask DDC if for during the presentation on the 21st, if you could swap out those slides and show the public restroom company bathrooms. I think that gives a much better image of the look that we're trying to do. That would be more attractive for users, but also something that would be more durable and less subject to the vandalism.
Thank you. Additionally, Director or Mr. Hayes, can you folks send over the information from UH, their setback recommendations, et cetera? I'm curious if they have, I want to take a look at that because I have an opinion that some of that might be due to a lack of natural plants that exist or don't exist currently in that region. So I'm just curious if you can send the link to the report.
We can. It's probably a hard link. It's on the UH website. It's called PACIOS, PACIOOS. I think you just type in that acronym, you're going to get there.
Got it.
There are quite a few pages, and it's a technical website. You can see a map of the entire state, and they've assessed shoreline hazards throughout the state. Just as a quick understanding, the shoreline erosion rate from that study is based on historic photographs. And so in this site at Waimanalo Beach in general, there have been sort of episodes of shoreline retreat and shoreline advance, both accretion and erosion. And overall, the shoreline erosion rate is essentially zero. Well, it's low.
It's not zero.
No,
that's
it's
for
not
sure.
zero, but it's low. I think it's around 0.2 to 0.3 on average. But that's the situation.
I appreciate it.
PACIOS.
Thank you.
PACIOOS is the UH system.
Got it. Appreciate that, Mr. Hayes. Director, this just calls into light, I think, some of the need for us to work on, some of the plant material that exists in that dune system that currently is tremendously under-supported because of that canopy of ironwood trees. But we'll add all of that into our conversations for sure. Okay. Mahalo again, Mr. Hayes, for being here this evening and providing that update. Next, we're going to move Auntie Luana. This is your time. If you can introduce yourself and your recommendation or your concern that you brought up. And then if we have anyone else that has any resident or community concerns, announcements, or public reports, please come up to the mic and introduce yourself, and we'll give you a few minutes to do so. Like Astrid, you want to talk about your project here tonight as well? Just, okay, no problem.
Okay, hello, my kako Luana Kaio. Yes, we do have a concern on the building that's going to be done pretty soon, the multi-building at the district park. We wanted to dedicate that building to a longtime resident and our still existing member for the Waimanalo seniors. And we wanted to dedicate that building to Auntie Grace Aviento. We really pushed the gym to be dedicated to Eric Bunyan. And as soon as that gym is completed, we want to do another dedication to Eric. So we feel that the building should be dedicated to Auntie Grace. So I think I emailed Laura Thielen, Esther Kiaina on what are the proper steps that I need to do so we can get this pushed forward, and also with Kimiona. So that was one of our concerns. And I think and I hope the building be done before summer fun starts. So we're going to push for that.
Mahalo, Auntie Lu. Thank you so much for honoring, a longtime member of our community. Auntie Brenda, please add that to your folks' agenda for our Parks and Rec community committee. Thank you. Do we have anyone here online as well that has an update? We have a Sonel Poi. Can you please introduce your name? And we have 3 minutes for your concern or public report. Mahalo.
Hello, Kako. This is Sonel Poi, Waimanalo resident. calling to see if perhaps there were any previous issues or discussions regarding racing through the neighborhoods. We've seen an uptick in mopeds, motorcycles, ATVs, and such up and down the street at all hours of the night. Even with motorcycles, whether it's out of towners, our own local, our own Kanaka going through. But as I said, it's all hours of the night and like they speed up and down, whether or not there are people in the road. Yeah. So has anything been brought up like that before? And what would we need to push for to see how can we rectify this? Mahalo.
Yes, mahalo. Thank you so much, Sonel, for bringing that to the attention of the board. It's been a very active conversation, I will say. We've had a lot of discussions surrounding speed in the community, and we've seen some improvements to some of the major streets, but there definitely is a continuation of that conversation that's necessary. When we've questioned HPD in the past, it's always a matter of call HPD, report it. If we get enough of those calls documented, there might be some actions that might be able to change from HPD side. But so now, can you send me an email? I'll put my email in the chat if you don't mind. That way we can get it forwarded to some of the other resources that we might have. And there might be some discussions that you might want to participate in as well if you're interested in that. So I'll put my email in the chat. We'll go ahead
Mahalo
and
will do.
thank you. I do want to also call Sonel, if you have the time, I want to call our chair of the transportation committee, Ted Ralston, to maybe address some of that in the immediacy, but also we'll connect offline as well. But Ted, you have a quick comment to
I
Sonel's
was
question?
going to add to what Sonal said, that certainly on Laumilo Street, sometimes there's, 6 or 8 motorcyclists going together. And the other problem is they ride, they're clever, really clever riders. They ride on just the rear wheel, doing a wheelie all the way down the road. And I just am in fear that at some point someone's going to run a stop sign and those guys can't see forward because they're looking straight up. So I don't know how the HPD can make guys ride on both wheels, but this is something that we've really got to address in some way to HPD. And you're right, just calling them is not effective.
Mahalo. So Sonel, yes, thank you so much for raising that. We definitely want to look forward to sharing in some learning with you. So my email's in the chat. Please send me an email and we'll get started on some of that work and see what your thoughts may lead us to. Appreciate your time for speaking this evening. I don't think we need it. Yeah, just you want to do an invitation? Yeah, come. Just introduce yourself, maybe your name, your research work, and then an invitation to the public. You don't have to go over the slides. Thanks.
I'll keep it short. Yeah, thank you for letting me speak. So my name is Astrid Delorme, and I'm a visiting researcher here. And I work at the Oceanic Institute together with Hawaii Pacific University at the Center for Marine Debris Research. So I look at the plastic pollution on the beaches here. So part of my project is to understand the transportation of plastics from the ocean to the beaches here. One way of doing that is to look at container spill items, which is very sad that we have a lot of container spills happening in the oceans that are being undocumented. But there is one that has been documented. It's called the 1 APIS container spill, and it happened in 2020. And it was spilled just outside of Papahanaumokuakea, and some of the items are coming onto the islands here, and also along the beaches of California and Washington. And so we're collecting all these items and making a database together with the University of Hawaii. And so yeah, I've asked the community of Waimanalo to keep an eye out for these items. So I've presented at the other meetings too, and I think there's a recording of it, so I don't have to. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to repeat it for everyone that participated in these meetings. And there's a list of all of these items to which I posted it in the Messenger community group. And I will post a poster as well around the shops here and restaurants so that people can just have a look at it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Astrid, for being here and as well as for your research. We appreciated that. I'm sorry, Kinani Gramberg, you have a comment or question or something to add?
Just a
missed-
community
yeah.
concern for Oluolu Street. I have over a
Sorry, can you
handful of,
just introduce yourself and then go through
sorry, this is Kenani Gramberg. I have more than a handful of residents on Oluolu Street that's asking for traffic calming solution for Oluolu Street.
that?
If
Mahalo, and
that,
that's the DHHO area, yeah?
yes,
Perfect. Thank you. Noted.
thank you.
And then we have Giavona. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly. If you can just introduce yourself and share your update, that would be great.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Giovanna Kawakalaiva'a. I'm a resident of Waimanalo. Good evening, everyone. I am a student at Kapiolani Community College. I am a Resilience Corp leader and researcher for the Center for Resilient Neighborhoods. We are a community-based research center located at Kapiolani Community College and work with the Department of Regional Planning at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. We are also working with the Honolulu Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency, and many other community partners across the island. We have been attending neighborhood board meetings island-wide since 2021, and I'm happy to be back to share an update on the Oahu Community Resilience Hub Network project, formerly known as Action 15, from the OLA Resilience Strategy. As far as the project update goes, we can share some links in the chat and make sure the board has copies. We have worked across all 8 sustainable planning regions and have identified over 156 possible hub locations on Oahu. To date, we have hosted over 200 engagement events, and of those, we had 16 regions, neighborhood level workshops we put on with local partners and hosts. Our big update right now is that the final Resilience Hub Network report is now published and available on the city's website. We will keep it brief for tonight, but we just wanted to come and share this report as a follow-up to our resilience workshop we held in this community. We are happy to share a full presentation of findings if you would like us to share at a later time. Mahalo nui loa for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you folks coming and sharing. I would love to introduce or invite you and your team to our Tuesday, February 20th, Waimanalo Community Plan Committee meeting, if there might be an option. I understand you guys emailed us, so I'll make sure that we get an invitation sent out to you. Kinani, if you can, I know you're on that email chain. Can you send them the information to our Community Plan Committee? We'd love to kind of dig a little bit deeper into some of those conversations. We understand that Dr. Miku, while we did have some introductory conversations, we needed a little bit more discussion taken from that. So Kinani can. Okay, mahalo. Thank you so much for being here, my dear. We appreciate your time and service. Mr. Cabrera, Ray Cabrera, if you can introduce yourself and if you have a community concern or a public report, we'll take that now.
Thank you for the time. My name is Ray Cabrera. I live on the highway, and unfortunately, it's another speeding issue. I know the highway is part of the State Department, and I've been corresponding with various agencies, persons for a little over a year now, trying to get speed humps installed on this end of the highway. I know they put in, I think, 5 speed humps from elementary school to almost President Obama's house, and trying to get something on this part of the highway where I think we know the whole highway is 25 miles per hour. That hardly anybody goes that speed limit. So I just don't know any other avenues to go. It seems like I get the runaround. People say they will call and they don't call. And we corresponded with Senator Lee. He seemed really enthusiastic initially when we met with him, with Lisa Martin last year, but nothing's come about at this time. So just wondering if anyone can get any more input or any help. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Cabrera. I appreciate you bringing your efforts to the board. We've also been in several capacities, been trying to navigate that as well as a community. And so additionally, my email is also in the chat. If you don't mind sending me an informational email with some of the things you've been working on. Maybe we can link up with some of the things that we've done successfully, and we can definitely reach out further to our elected officials and other agencies that might be able to provide some support. So if you need anything else, please don't feel like you cannot reach out. Please do so.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kabar. Appreciate it. All right. Anyone else with any public reports or community concerns at this time? Seeing none online. Anyone in public? Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for being present and sharing those things. This is what our role is, and so we appreciate you folks participating in that. We're going to move on to our city council member, Esther Kiaina, I understand is not on island, and so we're going to have on her behalf, where did she go? Irene?
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. I'm Irene Limos. I'm the legislative aide for Councilmember Kia Aina. So just a few updates. So in regards to advancing the efforts of invasive species, Councilmember Kia Aina looks forward to hearing the city administration's report on their efforts after the passage of her invasive species resolution, so likely in 6 months. She would like to thank DPR Director Thielen for working with the Oahu Invasive Species Committee on establishing a base yard at Ho'omaluhia Botanical Gardens, which Councilmember has been advocating for. For Bill 64, FD1, as chair of the Planning and the Economy Committee, Councilmember Kia Aina will be having hearings on various uses in the land use ordinance. The Planning and the Economy meeting will be discussing more residential uses at their next committee meeting on March 7th, 2023 at 9:00 a.m. She is anticipating hearing agriculture uses later this year, either in May or June. And if you have any questions, you can contact Councilmember Kia Aina's office at 808-768-5003. I will provide her contact information in the chat box shortly. And at last month's neighborhood board meeting regarding a support letter requested from Vaughn Bay Constructions for Waimanalo Apartments, Councilmember Kia Aina followed up with the Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation and sent them the support letter for the Waimanalo Apartments redated January 23rd, 2024. Thank you. I'm here for any questions.
Irene, thank you so much for filling in this evening. Welcome to our neighborhood board, and thank you for serving in the position that you do. Members online, any questions for Councilmember Kia Aina's office? Seeing none online. Anyone public online? Oh,
Actually, I have a question.
Sultan, please introduce yourself and then move on with your question. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Zoltan Radolic. I'm a board member, and on Sunday I was driving around Mahiku Place. The reason I bring this up now is because you mentioned the invasive species, the issues that we have with them. I actually almost ran into an iguana. So I tried to pick it up and I grabbed it by the tail, and I didn't realize that they detached their tails. The tail itself is probably about 24, 26 inches long. And someone else came by and they told me that there's an entire colony of iguanas around Mahiku Place. Does anyone know about that? Or does the county, the state, anyone? I mean, they're terrible at eating our birds and eggs and such. Is there anyone know anything about them?
Thank you for your question, Zoltan. I'm sorry, I don't have the answer to that, but I will follow up with Councilmember Kia Aina and I will get back to you on that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zoltan. In addition, I know we have Dexter online from the Department of Ag, so that would be a great thing for Dexter to take a note on as well. Any other board members? Lulu, you can introduce yourself and follow up with your question. Thank you.
I am Lourdes Milan. Lulu, I'm also a board member. So mine is about obviously the rhinoceros beetle. I know that so my coconut trees have the beetle, obviously. I'm here in Waimanalo. And I've reached out for help from the ag or the CRB. And all they tell me is, oh, well, all you can do is just report it. But there's no real help. So like I have about 15 coconut trees. And for me to climb up these trees, because I just found out there's somebody else that you can do some type of netting, I believe at the center or something to help catch them. But there's no information of where to get the netting, how much netting I need. And then I realized there's no real help when I asked around other people that they're in the same situation. They have coconut trees and they don't know how to climb up these trees and put up the netting. You know, they don't know, they've reached out and there's no real help. All we're told is go to the website, go to the website. I know that it's short staffed. I know that things are slowly coming about, but this is something that hasn't been brought up. Is now that we know it's here and people are reporting it and they're trying to be proactive as best they can, we're stuck with, we don't know how to do this. We need help.
Thank you, Lulu. Noted. I don't know that, well, I will say that's not Councilmember Kiaina's main kuleana, but we will definitely ensure that we get them looking into that as well. And then our state folks are here, so they're going to hear that loud and clear, Lulu. We appreciate
That's what
that.
I was doing it for the state. I'm sorry, not for Esther. My bad.
No worries. Thank you. Mr. Ralston, you have a question for Councilmember Kiaina's office? Okay. If that is a question, let me know. You can unmute and ask it. After
Okay, I'll talk now. So we had the meeting in Kailua Park maybe 2 months ago where this same subject came up, the fact that it's very confusing to people as to where to turn. There's multiple websites, not just one. And so it's like very tough. In any case, the fact that Lula's got one in her property, it almost suggests to me we need to make a Waimanalo map or with the help of the DOA or something to see if these guys were spreading, where they are. Somehow alerting us all to what is going on would be, in my mind, an important factor in tracking. And then that would lead where the help needs to be provided. Just a thought.
Appreciate the thought. Thank you. Anyone else questions for Councilmember Kiana's office? Okay, seeing no other members, anyone from the public online? Seeing none, anyone in person? Seeing none. Great. Irene, thank you so much for your presentation this evening. We look forward to continuing to work with the council member on the issues and opportunities for the community. Mahalo.
Thank you, Chair.
Members, we're moving on. Do we have Senator Lee's office this evening? Senator Lee. Okay, seeing and hearing none, we're going to move on. Representative Martin. I think
Aloha,
she's on.
good
Aloha,
night,
Representative. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's so interesting. So I have so much to share. I'll try to be quick, and if you folks want me to flesh anything out with more detail, you can ask questions. But I have an update on Kailua High School. Our field has been impacted, which really impacts a lot of activities, not just football, but also band, soccer, track, and also graduation. So the good news is that they welded the poles, those enormous steel metal poles for the lights to make them safe. They were very rusted. And next, in the very near future, they are going to be doing a temporary wiring to get the lights back. It's not a permanent solution. It will be exterior, kind of jerry-rigged. And the idea is to have those lights functional so that the games can continue until they replace the poles. And replacing the poles will be a $6.1 million project. The beautiful news is they will take the funding for that from the Department of Education's existing budget for maintenance. So it's not something that we have to wait a long time for on a relative basis. So maybe, anyways, the light should be functional within a couple months before graduation. And then the replacement of the poles might happen possibly not this coming summer, but the one after. So that is the news on that. The football field, we set aside funding last year for this year's funding, this year's budget to start the process of repairing the field. It's going to be a lengthy process because we have to start with the stream underground that's going underneath the field, which is a reason that the bleachers are damaged and condemned and the field is all soft in the middle and sagging. So it's going to be a multi-stage process, and we have to fight to keep that funding in the budget this year. It's not really safe. Unfortunately, the baseball field, which was in the budget and never got done, this is before my time, they got funding for the baseball field, and they never did it because of concerns over Title IX, where they have to do equivalent things for women's sports as for men's sports. And so they did not go ahead because it would have been imbalanced to not also do something for the girls' softball or something. And so that funding lapsed. A lot of funding around our DOE schools was lapsed purposefully by the governor to try to make up some of the shortfall in the budget for Maui. So that money was returned to the general funds to be able to pay some of the bills that we have incurred, paying for hotels, etc., for people who are displaced on Maui and health services. So I'll be asking for that funding to be reinstated this year with a plan to balance out with the women so that they can actually do it. I know we have some very disappointed baseball fans. Continuing with our schools, for this year, we get a chance to ask for more projects, and it's going to be the 100th anniversary for Waimanalo Elementary and Intermediate. So they would like to paint the school and improve the landscaping and spruce up for the big celebrations next year. So that will be my top priority. Malama Honua has a GIA that they've requested. That's for construction and partners in development. The Napono Nona Ohana program does not have funding right now, so they have requested a GIA for operations. So I will be putting all of those at the top of my list. I do want to advertise one thing. Now that I'm the chair of Human Services, which has made me very busy, but also very fulfilled, there is an expansion of our preschool open doors program for 3 and 4-year-olds, people that may not have qualified in the past because they earned a little bit too much income. The standards have changed to be a little bit more inclusive. So if you know somebody who has a 3 or 4-year-old and maybe they have childcare near their place of work or any place that is private and they need to pay, they can look at the website that I have just posted to see if they qualify maybe for financial assistance that they didn't get before. So that is something that's available. So as I mentioned, I'm now the chair of Human Services, which deals with care for public assistance for people who are vulnerable in many different ways, our kupuna, young children, disabled, homeless, and just people who just have low income. And so that is something that I'm learning a lot about. I had to put together a bill package, which I am actively fighting for at this time. I also have my personal bills, several of which do include invasive species bills. I'm on the Hawaii Invasive Species Committee and have been trying to be very engaged in that area. I did want to respond to some of the questions brought up just now. I spoke just a couple days ago, last Thursday, with some people working on coconut rhinoceros beetle because I too have been dismayed that they have kind of given up on Oahu and now are just telling people to treat it themselves. So I understand out of University of Hawaii, they feel that the real solution is something that is not available now, but that they're doing research on trying to find a biological control for them. I guess there's other varieties of coconut rhinoceros beetles that are not the one we have here in Hawaii that can be targeted with biological control like a virus that they are susceptible to, but we do not have anything for the one we have here. But in the immediate term, the real solution that this guy from UH was telling me is, there are insecticides that you can spray. And he says for the time being, he thinks that we'll need to consider it a regular part of maintenance, just like people do termite treatment on their homes occasionally. And that they are working to develop techniques. It doesn't really help to do the base. You have to get up into the high part of the tree, which is very difficult to reach. So they're using drones to do it. And I asked them if they would work with our businesses that do pest management to get the right strategies and the right techniques and the right products so that those who are willing to invest in their palms and coconut can at least have that option with people who are trained and are doing it right. And he said that yes, they actually do have funding that they can deploy for that, and they're going to do that. Lulu, I heard you. I'll see if I can put you in touch with someone for advice, but I think this is going to be yet another expense that we all feel because of our invasive species problem, unfortunately. On little fire ants, which is a bigger problem right now in other parts of Windward Oahu than it is Waimanalo, fortunately. But still, we have had outbreaks in Waimanalo. Similarly, we do have funding for some organizations. I've been writing bills to increase the funding for the Hawaii Ant Lab, which has been trying very hard, but does not have the resources and staff to do the job that they need to do. Fortunately, there is a DoD, a military grant that should be coming online in about 6 weeks with staff at the Oahu Invasive Species Council that will have more manpower, and they are devoted not to CRB, but they're going to work on coqui frogs and little fire ants. And that will really help with the manpower on Oahu, because right now we really have very few humans trying to do an enormous job. With that, I feel like I've talked too much, but I have really enjoyed some visits to the Capitol from our students, Malama Honua students, Kailua High School students, and those certainly brighten up my day. Everybody is welcome to come and visit and to contact my office if you would like to weigh in on legislation, if you want to be part of it and tell us what you care about. We can help find bills that you might be interested in testifying on. It really does make a difference when we have a lot of testimony on a bill of interest. Yep, I'll leave it with that. Thank you very much.
Representative, thank you so much for all of your work in the various layers of the community that you are working in. We appreciate it. Members, any questions for the representative at this time? Sorry, filtering through. Kenani, go ahead, Kenani. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Kanani Granberg. Rep Martin, being that you just said that you're the chair for the DHS, I've been hearing a lot from a lot of people in the community that DHS is behind with their EBT accounts. Is that true?
I did not know that, but that's exactly what I need to hear. If people are not getting them, then they would know, right? So, yeah, so I actually have a meeting tomorrow. I'm sure you folks have heard the news that we have a situation that's a little bit tragically reminiscent of what happened in Waimanalo with Ariel and her siblings. And so, yeah, I am meeting about that tomorrow, and I can bring up EBT as well and try to understand if there is a problem there. So what happened? They just didn't get their
They're
payment?
saying that they're turned in their, I guess, a recertification application, but it's being said that they're behind like 2 months or 3 months.
And so they're just waiting. It hasn't been.
Yeah, without any benefits.
Okay. Okay, I will ask and find out what's going on, and then also if there is the possibility of those missed benefits being, made up, being compensated for. I'm not sure. I can't say because I don't know, but I will find out tomorrow.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Anything DHS, I couldn't say this before, but now you can ask me because now I know every division who to call, which I did not know before. So please, yeah, if there's something like that, there's no way for us to know unless we hear, that there's problems. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mahalo, Kenani. Thank you again, Rep. Martin. Any other questions, members? Okay, I'm seeing no hands. Anyone from the public online? Question for Representative Martin. Seeing no hands. Anyone here present in the room? None. Representative, we appreciate your service. Thank you so much for your continued work.
Aloha.
Mahalo. Members, mahalo. We're going to move on to our Governor Josh Green's office. I think we have a representative this evening.
Hello, Chair.
Hey, Tony.
Can you hear me?
Thank you. Can you just introduce? Yep, we can hear you. Introduce yourself, and we look forward to your presentation. Thank you.
Hello, Chair, members, and community. Tony Benabise, Gov's Rep. In the chat, I'm gonna share a link to Governor's February newsletter. It'll share a lot of accomplishments that are being done in the state, a lot of highlights of great things being done. I wanted to dedicate most of my time to address questions that came up in October's meeting about LFA and other invasives. So I invited Dexter Kishida, Deputy Director of the State Department of Ag, to join us tonight to give us an update on that, answer any questions you may have as well. So thanks, Dexter, for joining us tonight.
Okay. Thanks, Tony. I'll put my email address in the chat as well. Feel free to email me. I think Neighborhood Board Member Lulu, please reach out. To cover a few things, I'll start with the LFA situation in Waimanalo. We had a few companies, this is already back in October, that we began monitoring. One of them went through a number of treatments. They shut down for a weekend to do thorough treatment. And so far, we're finding no little fire ants at the mentioned, or not the mentioned, but the five, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4 companies in Waimanalo that we were looking at. Recently, though, there was a large school that had a plant sale, and there were some donated plants along with, well, they're all donated, but some of them from nurseries, some of them from individuals. So we're still going through to triangulate and find where the little fire ants came from exactly. We know that we've been through a few of the nurseries and done the peanut butter tests, and we're not finding LFA. So we are still trying to find out where the little fire ants came from. And I'll be able to keep Chair up to date if we do find anyone, and especially if they are not working with us. So far, majority of nurseries or other agriculture businesses have been, very willing to help out, do what is needed to take care of the problem, let us on to continue surveying. So it's not just a one and done. We do go back a week, 2 weeks, and a month later to ensure that the infestation is tamped down, and second of all, that they're continuing with whatever types of treatment is necessary. So little fire ants in our ag community, I think we're definitely getting somewhere with. I don't want to make the comment that we are LFA free by any means, but we're definitely having really good sanitation, or better, I should say, sanitation practices. We're testing, and so I think we're making some headway. For CRB, I'd like to reiterate what Representative Martin said, that they're very limited good treatments for CRB right now. And while netting, it's a really small-eyed net. You can only buy it online currently because it's illegal to be sold. In fact, there's a bill right now being heard throughout or in the legislature to allow this to be done, but you can only buy it online. And if you have a 40-foot tree, unless you're good at coconut tree climbing or have a tall lift, it's highly impractical to net a tall tree because you do need to adjust it as the tree grows, as well as it's a mechanical barrier from the beetles entering or exiting from the tree. So there is, and they tend to kind of wiggle around and break through. So some of the chemical treatments, the primary and really best is an imidacloprid product. So it is a neonicotinoid, and usually it is either applied via a soil drench, which takes about 3 months to get to the ground, or through an injection. My one comment, please hire a reputable arborist if you are going to do a tree injection. This doesn't work for all palms, and there needs to be some exact calculations when they're doing this so they don't damage the tree. Now, with all that said, with imidacloprid especially, or really most of these treatments, you need to deflower and defruit. So you are going to be sacrificing the food-bearing aspect of your tree if you're going to treat with any type of pesticide. There is an organic option, pyrethrum, but it is definitely less effective than the other options. But it is an available option. It's a little hard to find or to purchase. It's called evergreen pyrethrum, but it is that is an option. We did that as in some tests, and beetles do drop, but the residual factors is not really there. We are, as Rep. Martin said, working with UH and others to really figure out other ways we can treat coconuts and still eat the fruit at the same time, because otherwise, what's the point, right? So as we work on those, we will be releasing additional info. And as mentioned, crbhawaii.org is a good resource. They keep that website up to date as new treatments are made. And then an iguana was mentioned. Please call us at 643-PEST if you see an iguana, if you don't want to grab it yourself, especially, and we will come out. We've been working with their DLNR, Department of Land and Natural Resources counterparts to try and see if they've found or triangulated where this colony is. If somebody knows where this colony lives, a little tighter than just Mahiku area, please email me. Let's connect. We'd like to get our guys out there or hire somebody to go out there to find this colony. Right now, we've only had one-off calls. And as mentioned, Oahu Invasive Species Committee will be doing or is continuing to do some coqui frog work in Waimanalo as well. Thank you.
This is Zoltan again, regarding the iguanas.
Hold on 1 second, Zoltan. Hold on 1 second. Tony, is there anything else that needs to be shared from the governor's office?
That's all.
Okay. Mahalo. Dexter, thank you so much
Thank you.
for that update. And Tony, thank you for the update as well. Members, questions. We'll start with Zoltan, introduction, and then your question. Thank you.
Hi, it's Zoltan Radolich again. I would love to show you folks where this colony is, or where I think it is. There have been several people that I've spoken to, and they all seem to point to the same location. So I'd love to take your email down and maybe
Please.
so we can set up a meeting or something.
Exactly. I'll connect you with my team, who are much better iguana capturers than I. So I
Great.
will, please email me.
All right, love to do that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Mahalo, Zoltan. Lourdes, again, introduction, and then your question, please.
Lourdes Milan. So I'm going to email you definitely. But I don't just have coconuts. I also have banana palm trees, hala, and another type of palm trees that this wonderful coconut beetle loves to eat.
Yes.
So it's not just one thing we're treating, it's a lot. It's other plants as well. I know you guys are short staffed, and I know this is just starting to come up. I do remember that when you guys brought those black I forget what they're called,
The
but they had the
traps.
pheromone or something. Yeah, the
Mhm.
traps. There was one literally across my street that fell, reported it, took about a couple weeks. They came, put it back up. Then the beautiful vines overtook that palm tree. Someone came, took a picture of it, and nothing ever happened. So that actual trap is still there underneath all the vines covered up. And I'm at
Got
the
it.
very, very end of Mexico, which is next to the Waimanalo, I'm sorry, the Monowilly Ditch Trail, which you would think, I don't know, would be kept up a little bit more. And I'm not the only one that has, big acreages or, a lot of plants on there that are dealing with this. That's why I'm saying we need to start adding, how are you going to help the farmers? Because it's an
Absolutely.
expense that, you know what, it's crazy you're asking us to just now try and stop this or control it when we were asking for help a long time ago, and now it's getting out of hand.
Yeah, Chair Hurd and I definitely hear that from our farmers, and um, one of the initiatives or that we'd love to support. There's a bill also at the legislature right now that was heard today in the House, and it's an invasive species grant program. And so that could help to offset some costs to our farmers as well, as they work on treatments.
Thank you, Dexter. Yeah, Lulu,
Chair-
it's a long-term thing for sure.
No, I know that, but that's what I'm saying. I'm bringing this up now because obviously I've noticed it, and people have been reaching out to me, other farmers, and this is one of their biggest complaints, which makes sense, and not just them. It's people that have one or two trees that they can't climb them, and they're finding the beetles, which is great. Don't get me wrong. They're trying, they're going in and then trying to go in and getting the grubs as much as they can, but they're also stuck with, what do I do? And all they're told is, oh, freeze it, dry, and I know you guys are going to be coming with more ideas, and I know it's a process. I'm just adding another thing to the list that unfortunately we hadn't thought about or realized how it's going to be affecting economically farmers or people that have more than one coconut tree or banana plants on their property.
Understood.
Sorry about that. And then Chair Taylor has something on the chat.
Yep, I noted. Thank you. I appreciate the discussion. Thank you so much for that, Lulu. I'm just going to read through just because this person online doesn't have access to a microphone. This is from Taylor. Taylor, the traps are not good for capturing CRB. They are a way to gauge how many are in the area. They emit a pheromone that attracts them, and then based on how many are in the trap, an estimate of how many are in the area can be made. There is an argument that it would be better to not have the pheromone around because it does attract them to that spot. Just sharing to let you know what it is, not detrimental to not have the trap up and working. It's not like it's necessarily preventing the population from spreading. Thank you for your comments there. So, recognizing time, I guess I just want to acknowledge, does anyone else have any questions, not just specifically to Dexter, but to the governor's office? Anyone else? Questions for the governor's office? Okay, Zoltan, is that a new hand? Okay,
Well,
Kanani Rambo?
yeah, I wanted to get back, just ask another question regarding the beetles. Do you have any idea of how much money the legislature is going to make available for this? Because it seems to me that without the coconut trees, Hawaii is not going to have the same kind of feeling. And coconuts are beginning to make quite a bit of a economic impact. I mean, they're charging $10 a coconut when they're selling them on the side of the road. I have a friend who just got a 120-acre parcel out in Wahiawa that they're going to be planting coconuts all over that property. Um, I mean, there's a huge economic impact to coconuts. I just can't imagine Hawaii without any coconut trees. And is it going to be another one of those things like Guam, where the brown tree snake eats all the birds? They have no more birds left. I mean, are we going to be without coconuts? Just a
We
thought,
also
guys.
see CRB hitting Guam quite a bit as well. So no, absolutely not. Working with folks at the city, as well as other companies, and folks that can treat their trees with the current slew of tools that we have. We are working with them. Director Thielen's team has been absolutely amazing to work with, as they kind of put together that plan as well at the city level. How much money the legislature, there's a few bills that are alive and moving that would allocate funding to invasive species work. And so I have a hard time pinning an exact number, but the help is needed not only for the short term to assist farmers and residents, but also to work, as Representative Martin said, on a biocontrol, um, whether it's a fungus or a viral agent, to work on that biocontrol for the beetle, because these things are hard and hardy.
Oh, I bet. And I thank you for the effort you guys are making. It's just that I think that you should just tens of millions of dollars. They should just allocate to it somehow. Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Zoltan, for that.
Thank you.
Definitely hope that you are providing testimony to those pieces of legislature. We'd love to make sure everyone is engaging there as well. So
Absolutely.
continue to do that. We'll
Thank
take
you.
the final question from Kenani Granberg for the department, for the office of Josh Green.
Thank you. This is Kenani Granberg. Question for Josh Green's office. If DLNR agricultural land in Waimanalo is under DLNR, how is it not being managed by DLNR, but being managed by Josh Green if it's not under any executive order or if there's no proclamation? Thank you.
Mahalo. Tony, is there a response tonight, or do you need a little bit more
Yeah.
information?
Yeah, what property are you referring to, Ms. Granberg?
The Hui Mahi'ai property, which is a flood zone, and DLNR is saying that it's out of their hands, but it's under them as the fee owner. They said I would have to look above them. And so above them, I'm not sure who that is. So we'll just go to the governor.
Yeah, I can get back to you on that, Ms. Granberg.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mahalo, Tony. Thanks, Kenani, for the question. All right, gang, we are a little bit pushed for time. We still have quite a bit of things on the agenda. If there's no other questions right now that cannot be sent over in message or email, please go ahead and raise your hand. Otherwise, I strongly encourage you to make the connections to both Tony and the office, as well as to Dexter at the Department of Ag. We appreciate you, gentlemen, for continuously making time for these conversations that are so impactful in our community. And as you can see, are definitely having negative impacts felt by our members. And so thank you for continuing to do your work and your service. And if you, Tony, I think if you didn't already, can you add your information or contact information so they can reach out to the office?
Sure.
You Chair.
All right. Mahalo, members. Thank you so much. We're going to continue to press on. Do we have anyone here from the Congresswoman's office, Joe Tokuda's office? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we're going to move on. Members, we have several items on board business. First and foremost, we have the approval of regular meeting minutes. This is for Monday, October 9th, 2023. Monday, October 9th, 2023. I'm looking for a motion to approve meeting minutes for Monday, October 9th, 2023.
This is Kenani Granberg. I'll move to accept the Monday, October 9th, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
Mahalo, Kinani. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ted. Seconded by Ted. Motion made by Kinani. Members are in discussion. Any discussion on these meeting minutes? And thank you, Rachel, for that comment. Apologies, members. I need your cameras on for decision making. Mahalo. Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we're going to close that. Members, when your name is called, please state your vote. Aye, yes, you support. Nay, you do not support. No, and abstain if you are Kanalua. So as when your name is called by Rachel, please respond with your response. Mahalo.
So this is for the approval for the October minutes. So Lourdes,
Aye.
Miona,
Aye.
Moeata,
Aye.
Brenda,
Aye.
Biolani,
Aye.
Aye. Oh,
Ed,
Aye.
Kanani,
Aye.
Sultan.
Aye.
Okay, so we have everybody with aye. That's 8. The minutes has been approved.
Mahalo, members. That's 8 total, 0 abstains, and 0 nays. Thank you. We're moving on. Recognizing 8 voting members, we're going to go on with November 27, 2023. Anyone with a motion to approve?
This is Kanani Gramber. I'll move to approve the meeting minutes for Monday, November 27, 2023.
Mahalo, Kinani. Is there a second?
Second.
Is that Ted or
Yes.
Zoltan? Ted. Thank you, Ted. Members, recognizing 8 voting members. Any abstains? Any nays? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
aye.
Thank you. We'll pass that out with 8 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions. Mahalo, members. We're moving on. January 8th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve?
Approve.
Sorry, state your name.
Oh, sorry. Zoltan Radolich, approve.
On with the main motion. Thank you, Zoltan. Is there a second?
Brenda Wong seconds.
Thank you, Brenda. Members, we're in discussion. Okay, the motion by Zoltan to approve January 8, 2024, seconded by Brenda Wong. Closing discussion. Members, recognizing 8 voting members. Any abstentions? Please make your voice known. Hearing none. Any nays? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Mahalo, gang. Recognizing 8 voting yeses or ayes, 0 abstentions, and 0 nays. We're going to go ahead and approve those meeting minutes. Members, we're moving on. Sweep at Waimanalo Beach Park Campground. This has been on the agenda for quite some time. This is at the urging of several of our community members and the Residentially Challenged Committee, who unfortunately our chair is not able to be here this evening. But this is specific to the beach park campgrounds, recognizing the safety and concerns that have been brought up by the community. So we are voting this evening to do a sweep or an outreach there to get the board's support in that for that particular space. Okay, so it's very specific to Waimanalo Beach Park campgrounds on Kalaniana Ole Highway. Do we have a motion to accept and approve this action?
I, Lourdes Milan, accept and motion to accept and approve this action of the sweep or outreach.
Mahalo, Lulu. We have a main motion by Lulu. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Ted Ralston. Seconded by Ted. Members, we're in discussion. Any discussion on this item? Please do not hesitate to ask because it's an important conversation.
I can offer something. This came up maybe October or so of last year, and the discussion was that the police department was in recognition of a resolution that had been made a year ago at Christmas time that was the sentiment in Waimanalo not to hold sweeps. at that time, there wasn't the situation of criminal activity going on, which apparently grew over the summer. And the residents in the area requested that the concept of no sweeps be locally adjusted to take care of issues where there's criminal activity. And the resolution provided this needed that explanatory material in it. It doesn't remove the general sympathy to not do sweeps. This just adds the fact that if there's a criminal activity going on, then that sympathy changes.
Understood.
And I think
Thank you, Ted.
Maple has something written up, I believe.
Yep. Mahalo, Ted. Anyone else discussion? Okay, hearing none, we're going to close discussion. We have the main motion to approve by Lulu, Lourdes, Milan, seconded by 10 members. Recognizing 8 of us present this evening, are there any nays? Please make your voice known. Any abstentions? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Mahalo, members, recognizing 8 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions, we will provide the necessary entities a support specific to the Waimanalo Beach Park, noting the conversation shared by Member Ralston about our understandings with regards to criminal activity. Thank you so much for moving this along, members. The community has been waiting a while for our support there, so thank you. Moving on, we have one-time funds of $1,000. This has gone back and forth. This was from the NCO office. Does any one of our members want to make a recommendation for consideration this evening on the
Chair.
use? Excuse me.
Sorry. So for the 1,000, there was actually a deadline to have that used. So that's not available anymore. But the neighborhood commission did say that if there is anything that you guys wanna like use money towards we can think about it and then see if we can actually ask for that.
Okay. So if we take a recommendation this evening and we push the NCO to provide that $1,000, that could be the
Yep.
result
So
of that.
I can bring it back to them.
Fantastic. Members, any recognition of recommendations for the $1,000 use? We won't word it that way, but should we have $1,000 lying around that's available to the Waimanalo Neighborhood Board, how would you like to spend it? Any
Not a clue at
recommendations?
this point.
I'm sorry, who was that, Zoltan?
Oh, I'm sorry again. This is Zoltan. I don't have a clue at this point, but
Okay. No, we appreciate
maybe-
that. Thank you. Lulu, raise your
maybe-
hand, Lulu. Oh, Zoltan, go
Did
ahead.
we already pay for the library for the meetings? Is that something we can use it for?
I would say that we would advocate that the NCO come up with a separate budget for that, Lulu. I don't think we should be using that type of funding for it. We should push differently for the funding. I think this was really for about community outreach and community participation. That's what the original.
What about a banner?
We have a banner, I think. Yeah, we have a
Do
banner.
we? Do we put
We
it up
do.
every,
It's just-
do we put it up before the meetings come up so people know about it? Or
I
maybe we
wish
need
we-
more banners?
we gotta get some permissions on that. There's some property permissions that we need to get in order to do so. And then signage is a big issue when it comes to certain people. So there's a process, unfortunately, that I'm not as familiar with. But Auntie Luana has set up plenty of banners to our community. Maybe she got recommendation later she can share with us. But we do have a banner, and then the potential of having some type of A-frame signage that we could put up at the site was something that we thought about. Lulu, thank you. I'll go back to Zoltan, then Moyata, and then Ted. Zoltan?
Any chance of giving the money for school supplies for the kids that don't have the supplies? Just a thought.
Thank you. We can consider some of the details there. Moyata?
No.
Moyata, unmute. Yep, go ahead.
I was thinking since we are sweeping the beach park, maybe we can make little like malama bags for them, like of necessities, toothbrushes, clothes, food. I don't know. I would rather put it towards that, and since it was an action of ours.
Thank you for that recommendation. We'll consider that as for sure. Ted, recommendation?
Yeah, I was just thinking that we've been dealing with the State Department of Transportation for what, 4 or 5 years now on phase 1, phase 2, and coming up to phase 3 of the highway resurfacing, which is of course a lot bigger than just resurfacing. There's so much of the subterranean infrastructure that had to get replaced. We're like 2 years behind, and I'm guessing that'll take the same situation will apply on phase 3. But nevertheless, I think everybody enjoys the work that's been done and the smooth pavement and the wider sidewalks, the elevated sidewalks, is certainly an improvement. How do we collectively give our thanks to the Department of Transportation for what they did and to keep that thanks going into the phase 3? Just a thought. I mean, we could have a Baina or something like that, and I just wanted to say that somehow we had to keep the connection going on a social basis, just because they have been good to us, and it took a long time, but that's how it is.
Thank you for sharing your sentiments there, Ted. I think my one concern about looking at a department like that, especially a state or city, county kind of thing, I think there would be some conflicts there. So
we
that
have
would
to
be
do
my thought there. But I noticed Tony raised his hand. So Tony, did you have a thought on Ted's recommendation?
Oh no, if you just wanted to share give a thanks to the department, I'm sure their comms department would really appreciate that, sharing that with the workers there. So I can share an email address that we could send something out to them too.
So independent of the $1,000, we'll just go ahead and make some nice resolution or something, I guess, Kimi. And okay, we'll do it that way.
Feel free to recognize and acknowledge. I would recommend away from financially supporting some of that. It just seems like there might be some conflicts there that we'd have to figure out first. Yeah, but thank you. Kanani, you have a recommendation?
A quick suggestion would be for yourself and all the programs you work with, and maybe you can buy some plans as you go to do your projects with not just the school, but the community. Maybe some of that money can go towards your projects, Kimiona.
I appreciate
I
the
second
gesture there. Thank you. I also recognize potential conflicts in that as well. But I will acknowledge your folks' support tremendously as we look at that. Mahalo, Kenani. Thank you.
That is community outreach, though, when you work with the children, right?
I will, yes, mahalo. I will
And the
acknowledge.
community, when you like adopt a park and you work over there, maybe some of that can be contributed back into the community like you do anyway. Somehow it has to work. You contribute
Add
so
it to
much.
the agenda for next month so we can discuss it and then get it approved for you.
We will, I would love to add this to the agenda for next month. It seems like we have a little bit more discussion than I want to make time for this evening, just based on what we have ahead of us. So members, if you would indulge, I do have two other recommendations that were shared. One was to donate to the Christmas parade to assist with offsetting some of the cost that the parade committee has to incur and the community has been incurring, and you know, recognizing the long-standing commitments that Andrew Jamila has paid to the community through the neighborhood board. That was a recommendation that I thought would be very appropriate for this board to consider some kind of offset there, however that might look. So that's one. And then secondly, in addition to what Zoltan was sharing, there was this push to see what we could do with regards to some of the schools, whether it be, you know, offsetting some of the costs for lunches and meals or something along those lines. So I put those two also into that bucket. And if there is any thoughts that you folks might have, let's bring this back. I'll defer that item to our next meeting if you're okay with that, and we can review and discuss the next steps there. Anyone opposed to that deferral? Okay, seeing none, I appreciate the engagement here, gang, and of course, the aloha for our community. Thank you so much. We have a long-standing conversation here with regarding the dirt pump track installation. Now, we do have Holly online. Holly has been the primary advocate for this project in Waimanalo, has gone through every single hoop that has been tossed her way. And we've pretty much come up to this point of saying, you know, can the dirt pump track that's been envisioned be pushed forward to take its next steps ahead of the ahead of the skate park conversation that has been present on our agenda for some time. And so this has gone through the Parks and Recreations Committee several times. We've come to a point where, you know, there's obviously delay in our ability to move forward with the skate park. However, it seems to be that there is potential that the neighborhood board can support pushing the installation of the dirt pump track ahead of time with the commitment to include the skate park renderings, et cetera, in the future. Since this has gone on the agenda, and since then, I did have a conversation, an email sent by Director Thielen on this particular topic. Director, is it appropriate to bring you into the discussion and see if you want to update based on that email you sent me? Is this a good time for you?
I did have a conversation with Chuck Mitsui, who of 808 Skate. Apparently, I think he's talked with some of the folks that have advocated for the pump track. He also did the skate park improvements at Kailua District Park and Eva Mahiko Skate Park. And he's been working with community out in Kahuku for a number of years for a skate park out there. He is saying that there is a way to do a track that would work for both pump bikes and skateboards. And I talked to the American Ramp Company, which is a mainland-based company that builds skate parks, pump tracks, BMX bike tracks, all kinds of things. And they showed it's not a dirt track, but it's an asphalt paved track that can be used by different types of wheeled. So you can even have scooters on it, inline skates on it, skateboards, and pump bicycles. And they have these types of tracks where, you know, they've put them into a number of parks across the continent where they may have like a beginner area, pump area, and then a more advanced area. But it's something that can, you know, meet a variety of user groups. And I was asking how they deal with conflicts, you know, between the different types of uses. And he said that, you know, at the different parks that they put them into, you know, they generally have the faster, you know, vehicles tend to have the right of way, and they have the, you know, people self-segregate into the different levels of experience based on what they can do. I've not talked with the park directors in these other locations, but he did show me one big track they just put into the Cleveland Metro Parks. And so I was going to reach out to their park department to see how they manage that. Chuck Mitsui, you know, I guess has retained or asked them to do some general designs for an asphalt mixed use type of track.
I lost how to get
And-
her.
Yeah, so I was just reaching out to Chair Kane just to say, I think it's something that, you know, it's possible if it's something that meets the desires of the community, that you don't have to design for only one type of use. They've come up with designs now that work for multiple types of uses.
Thank you so much,
Locally
Director, for
asphalt,
that information.
you know, it's not that expensive.
Yeah. As you know, this topic has been on the conversation table for a while, for years, with some previously made commitments from different administrations, and you've inherited that. And so I think where we've come to as a community is we know that to get the wheels rolling, so to speak, on a mutually agreed upon plan for this will take some time. In the meantime, it seems that Holly has been able to put forth some type of plan, which we will acknowledge. I will say straightforwardly that it has to meet the requirements as any other building project. That's something that we've made sure to be, you know, we want to make sure is there. And I think where we're at today is in that recognition until said mixed concept reviews can be made and pushed through the city, where this community is at is trying to support Holly and the community members that have been pushing for this advocacy for some years now and getting the kids into a space that they can utilize non-motorized types of equipment there. I think that's where we are this evening. So, you know, I want to be fair to the process and I want to be fair to the members that have been participating in the discussion. In your unofficial, official capacity, Director, how long do you think we will see or will it take for us to get to a point of having this mutually merged type of skate park pump track in our community? And I know we're just kind of putting this on you, so I don't need an answer
I
tonight.
think the challenge for either a dirt track or an asphalt track is going to be the design where because the city is going to have concern about liability. And so it would have to be done by some type of company that would be able to do the design. So companies like, I think there's companies besides the American ramp companies that build, you know, they'll do dirt tracks, they'll do asphalt tracks, they'll do concrete structures. But they've got the experience on, you know, what's the pitch of the slope, the grade, the length and all that kind of thing, as opposed to lay people putting something together. So I just know the city is a little bit different from the state in having those concerns about the liabilities and building that. So I think that's actually going to take the longest period, is going through the design and getting the approvals. Because normally the department that does that, it's not our department, it's the engineering DDC.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you right there, Director. Holly, can you provide a organization? I know in the beginning of these discussions there was comment that it would be kind of a hui of people. Hearing the director's expectations and particularly or potentially the city's expectations of how to move forward with that, are you folks prepared to be able to do that in that way?
Yes, I have people who put together the Cocoa Head one with Senator Laura Thielen, Director Laura Thielen's aware of. And you talked about Cocoa Head last month and asked if that would suffice. And I said that got done by a bunch of community members as well. And we had professionals go in who've done it. I have people from
Okay, so
locally.
you are prepared, Holly, to take on that kuleana as explained by the director. That's what I'm hearing. Yes.
Yes. And
Okay.
so my thing, I wanted to
Hold that
say
thought.
what
Hold that thought, Holly. Because we're not really. I'm not trying to have a full discussion about it tonight. I'm
I
really
just
just trying to
wanted
make
to
sure.
comment on her solid surface track.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. And it's really because our kuleana this evening as a board is to say to you, director, we would like to have Holly's project move forward ahead of the combined pump track. That's where we are this evening because we've recognized that time has been turned from months into years now, and we haven't made any real progress. And so at the bequest of this community and this board, that's what we're trying to accomplish this evening, is giving you a recommendation that supports the use of Holly and recognizing fully, Holly, that you're going to be accountable to the processes and the relationships that are going to be expected of you through the city and any other permitting type of expectation they have. That's kind of what I want to address this evening in the short amount of time that we have left for this evening. So as far as the materials and all of that, you guys can hammer out those details later. My question is just, are you prepared to take that stance and that are you prepared to meet the requirements of what the director has shared briefly this evening and any other items that come out if we decide to provide comment recommendation this evening?
And Chair, please, if I may just add to that, just in full disclosure, Holly, the Cocoa Head, I'm not saying that site meets the city's standards. That's one of the reasons that we're looking at bringing the American Ramp Company in to have them evaluate it. that is not going to satisfy, the Cocoa Head, with the way it is now, would not satisfy the city agencies that would be reviewing the projects. So it
Appreciate
would
that.
have to be something
Perfect.
above
Thank you.
and beyond that.
Okay, so hearing that, Holly, and for the board, Holly, again, are you folks prepared to take that kuleana on and meet the director's expectations, whoever is going to be the determining people in regards to that? You folks are prepared to do that?
I would need to know what her expectations are. She asked about getting dirt from a
It
tested
sounds like
site.
it's not gonna just be the director. I think there's another whole department. So
Yeah,
from
so
here,
I
what
need
we'll
to
get is
be
we'll get
able
the
to know those
process outlined
contacts.
for you. Okay, yeah, we'll get the process outlined for you in addition to our support. That's where I'm at. But I want to make sure we're taking the stance and you're gonna be makoko to do it.
Yes, and I need to know the exact area she had allotted for that pump track, or on the side of it, or wherever exactly.
Yeah, you can hammer all those details out with them at that time. Tonight, our kuleana is to primarily support the movement of this forward, recognizing that we do have a commitment to put in a skate park. There have been designs that we've been talking about for years now, and this is in no way, shape, or form going to be a finalized product. That's correct, Holly. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So with that recognition, and just so that we can pursue taking some action, members, hearing the discussion and hearing that we've done this for some time now, is there a recommendation? Is there a motion to move forward with Holly's design ideas and push that recommendation onto the responsible entities this evening, and knowing and recognizing that it's going to be up to Holly and her hui to meet the expectations of those processes? That's kind of where we are this evening. What we didn't want to do is get stuck with if it's two or if it's one or if it's all combined. We know that we want to have a skate park. We know that there is a desire to have a dirt pump track. We're not there yet for both. So can one move ahead of the other while the combination of planning takes place? This is not going to solve the answer, and the answer is not going to just be a direct yes that we're going to start building it this year. I get it. But taking a stance in support and just making a recommendation forward to the director is hopefully going to help the director and Holly work on a pathway. That's the opportunity this evening. Lulu, you have a question?
I wanted to actually a motion for the resolution, but wasn't sure how you wanted us to word it.
Yeah.
Do I just,
yeah, go ahead.
I, Lourdes Mala, want to motion for the board to make a resolution for tonight to let Holly continue. Is that what we're saying for the track, whatever is needed to get started?
I second it, Brenda Wong.
Okay, mahalo. So moved by Lourdes Milan, seconded by Brenda Wong. Members, any discussion on the item? I know we've had brief conversations out of time or out of turn. My apologies. Any other discussion on the item for the members? Okay, hearing none, we're going to close discussion. Again, our focus this evening, based on the conversations and the needs, to your point, Lulu, is to support the progress, the next steps for Holly to take on with the department, with all the entities that are involved as outlined by the structures that are there. But they have their support to kind of push that forward while we figure out how to get the two combined there. So that's the main motion made there by Lulu and then seconded by Brenda. Members, recognizing 8 of us here this evening, any nays, make your voice known. Any abstentions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, mahalo. Members, this recognizes 8 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions. Director, I will send an email confirmation of the discussion that we had this evening and just kind of what we'll outline for the next steps, recognizing that we don't have all the solutions and answers this evening, but our support in trying to move forward, taking a step forward is where we are this evening. So I will make sure that you get that, as well as our council member and our elected officials. Is there anyone else that needs to receive that information from us?
Thank you, Chair. If you wouldn't mind also copying Holly, and then Holly would look forward to working with you. But again, I think what we should do is set up a meeting to go over what the city process would be to get to acceptance before you guys so we can answer some of those questions that you had tonight.
I appreciate that. I look forward to Holly taking on that kuleana, and I will be happy to be involved in whatever way to progress that conversation. Thank you, Director. Holly, thank you for your
Mahalo.
advocacy. Members, mahalo for your support and your time. For the time's sake, I'm going to defer the committee charters to our next meeting, recognizing that it's 9:46 p.m. So we're going to move into our meeting announcements. I want to go back real quickly. Auntie Lou, you were going to talk about the 100 years. Did Representative Martin cover enough of that for you? He was, but he didn't make it this evening. Do you want to address it before we go, or because we're going to finish up soon? Yeah. Okay, so we'll wait on that then. Okay, thank you. Recognizing our time again, members, we're going to move closely to our closing, with meeting announcements. Our next neighborhood commission office, our next meeting of the neighborhood commission is scheduled for Monday, February 26, 2024 at 6 p.m. on WebEx and at Kapala Mahale, first floor conference room 153. If you're interested in seeing how the commission operates, please go ahead and do so and join them there. I apologize. I'm going to turn it over to Rachel for some NCO commission updates from the office. Thank you.
Okay, I'll be quick. So the Waimanalo Public Library facility permit contract ends on March 2024. So we requested for the renewal to start in July. April and June, the facility is unavailable. But we already made reservations just as a backup for Kapalama Hale. It's going to be from 6:30 to 9:30. So if the board is okay with that, we'll keep it there. We also reserved it for May. But if that option is not okay, the board can let me know what location that they decide that they want to have their meeting. That's it.
Thank you, Rachel. So members, we're looking for a meeting space tentatively for some of our meetings coming up this year, first half of the year, May and June.
April, May, and June.
April, May, and June. So we'll be reaching out. If you folks have recommendations, please let us know. This is for the regular board meetings as well as the committees potentially. I think the regular board meetings right now are the ones that are in conflict, correct? Yeah. Okay, so if anyone has any updates, please let us know and we'll be happy to look forward to that. The next neighborhood board meeting is scheduled for Monday, March 11th, 2024, 7 p.m. and will be a hybrid meeting. This is our March meeting, so we will have the library available as well as our WebEx link. We offer that to the community. Education Committee meeting will be on the second Thursday of the month at 5 p.m. Hawaiian Affairs and Natural Resources, third Thursday, 6 p.m. Parks and Rec Committee is on the third Monday, 7 p.m. Residentially Challenged Committee meeting, second Tuesday of the month at 6:30 p.m. And the Waimanalo Community Plan meeting is on the third Tuesdays of the month at 7 p.m. Our Olelo broadcast schedule for 2024 continues to play on Channel 49, fourth Monday of the month, 9 p.m., and the first and third Saturdays of the month at 3 p.m. You are able to view videos, and video replays are available online. If you're interested or need that, please reach out to the Neighborhood Commission office for that information. The Hawaii Kai Neighborhood Board meeting number 1, scheduled on the last Thursday of the month. Kahalu'u Neighborhood Board meeting 29, scheduled on the second Wednesdays of the month. Kaneohe Neighborhood Board number 30, scheduled on the third Thursday of the month. And the Kailua Neighborhood Board number 31, scheduled on the first Thursdays of the month. With that being said, members, that brings us to our adjournment this evening. Do we have anyone that would like to close us off in Pule before we leave? Anyone willing to close us off in Pule this evening? If not, I'm going to just have us recite Pule Olelo Ihi, because I don't see anyone volunteering here. So we'll just read through it. Ya e Pule Kako, mahalo. O kaola e kia kua e nana mai kau mau pula pula, e ola a kani ko a hau maka iole, a palalau hala, a kau I kapua ane ane. A laila, lawe ako e iau I ke alo o wā kia e. Amama ua noa lele bale. Mahalo. Amen e kako. We will close this meeting at 9:50. Mahalo nui members. Mahalo to the community. We look forward to your continued support. And we want to recognize James, our new video guy. Hi, James. Thank you for joining us this evening and making this